Week 5 in the books. We got Mark in the house. J-Bob, sorry about that Eagles game, man. That was my concern. I can't believe you blew that one, though. I didn't think it would be like that, but you should feel good about it, J-Bob, because like I was saying on the stream, you weren't on yesterday. We were talking about it. The only way the Eagles lose games is by a field goal when they blow them. So, like, that's a good thing, is the fact that you're never, like, you're losing games. Teams aren't beating you. Like, you lost it. You know, the Eagles lost that game. I don't know why they weren't running the ball. A lot of things with the Eagles. So I'm saying it's positive, and you didn't lose to a bad team. Denver has a top 3 defense. They needed that game much more than you did. They were 2-3. They needed that game. So I wouldn't feel bad, J-Bob. If anything, I'm kind of encouraged because you guys are playing like dog shit. Hurts isn't playing good. Saquon doesn't look great. A.J. Brown's pouting, and the ref screwed you, and you still lost by 3. So I'm not worried about the Eagles. Like, that's actually a good thing. You know, sometimes I always say this in sports and in life. You learn from mistakes more than you learn from, like, success. And you had the success, and you learned from a loss more than you learned from a win. And you needed this game. Like, you needed to lose this game because it didn't show any chinks in your armor. It was just bad play calling. You know, Hurst didn't play great. He didn't play terrible. But I don't know what – I think you were trying to come out and prove a point and throw the ball. And I'm excited to see Thursday night when you guys just destroy the Giants by 30 points and, you know, get back to the Eagles brand of football, which is Saquon Barkley. Now, he's a little dinged up, but I don't think he's really that bad. Mark, thank you for the $2. 9 more donations and I chug a beer. I'm going to do that every time because I can chug beers really fast. It's entertaining. I might get a little messy. Maybe I should set the goal higher. And my wife likes showing her tits. Actually, she hates showing her tits, so she won't do it. But if I set it higher, maybe she will. And, you know, I'll get kicked off YouTube and the channel will be a distant memory. So, Jamar Chase, man. The buy low window's gone, J-Bob. It's gone. And I was telling everyone Jamar Chase is still a top 10 fantasy receiver. He's not going to be number 1, unfortunately. I mean, that's not even because of him. It's because Puka's a god and St. Brown is just a G. But it's Jamar Chase is that first touchdown catch he had. How good was that? Like, that was what proved, that just reminded us of how good. The second one was a blown coverage, whatever. But that reminded us that Jamar Chase is not only an athletic player, he is an elite, talented, very polished wide receiver, where most of those guys, you know, like Brian Thomas right now, we're seeing it where he's not polished. So the athleticism only takes you so far. I mean, and that wasn't his fault. Again, this is my whole and now it's looking really bad for everyone on the Chargers because I think Ladd McConkey is the only one that isn't affected, and partially because he's sucking. But I feel like he'll be fine. It might actually help him to be extension of the running game. But Quentin Johnston, the downfield stuff is not going to be there. And not to mention, you don't have no threat of the run now with Hampton being out. So we're going to get through all that here. Story should be on here any seconds. And yeah, we'll get through all that. But this game was entertaining tonight. Excited to talk about that. We've had some really good primetime games. Really good primetime games where has there been any blowouts? They've all been like high scoring for the most part, down to the wire, exciting games. Hampton's on IR, J-Bob. On IR, bro. He gone. 4 weeks. T-Law is him? No, but this was a very important game for T-Law. The win, yes, but the fact that, like, again, and I know I think you're in the Discord, Mark. I had Brian Thomas as my bet, his yards, which barely hit in the end, but I added in Trevor Lawrence rushing yards, and I laddered that bitch all the way up. I did it up to 70 yards, which is 40-1. But he hit the 50+ yard mark, which was 18-1. Anyways, like, this was encouraging because Trevor Lawrence actually fucking played football today, right? Like, he wasn't thinking as much outside of that terrible interception he threw in his own 20-yard line, which was pass interference by the Chiefs, by the way. But Trevor Lawrence actually was playing football. Like, he looked like he was competitive. He was engaged in the game. It was a really encouraging performance by him. This is what I've been saying about Trevor Lawrence all along. You saw it in Clemson. He was a dual threat quarterback that could beat you with his legs and his arm. Not just necessarily, you know, like, look at Mahomes. Sometimes you scramble to throw. He wasn't doing anything. He was just a pocket passer. And Trevor Lawrence is not accurate enough to be a pocket passer. So now you mix that with the weapons he has, if Travis Hunter can actually be something, and you're looking good for Trevor Lawrence. Fantasy purposes too, man. Let's see. 2-3 gangs stand up. I'm in a lot of I have a lot of 2-3s, a lot of 3-2s. No 0-5s. I am 5-0 in my $500 league, which I'm super excited about. And I lost CeeDee Lamb. Devious says, remember last night when I said I had Mahomes, he had Hunt. Barely won. Oh my God. Yeah, because the Kareem Hunt just scores touchdowns, bro. Like, how is he more valuable than Pacheco? I mean, I know how because his role, but what a wild world. Like Kareem Hunt. Actually, Kareem Hunt looked okay. That hurdle he had was pretty good, pretty cool. Wally won my fantasy week. My opponent had Worthy and BTJ tonight, so it was pretty close because they both had decent games. Thomas had 70 yards, and Worthy didn't do much. Yeah, that was a bad call. But you know what? There was a couple bad calls in this game, a couple wild plays too. So all around entertaining game. I keep, I won my 2 bets. By the way, fellas, if you're not tailing this shit, get on it right now. We are on prop bets this year, even odds prop bets. I don't do alt lines. 24-11, fellas. 24-11. That's called doing some work. 24-11.
Have you guys seen Professional Fanatics? I made $500 off his picks last week.
No way! How much? $500?
Of course! Could say that, Kyle, you stupid shit.
Shut up, fat ass!
Mm-hmm.
We are crushing. So if you're not on board, it's not too late. It's a 4-year sample size of a 65% win percentage. So yeah, dude. I just, those holding calls on the Chiefs just killed them. Like, if they didn't get that holding call, even if they started on the 32-yard line, I feel like Mahomes with that time gets the ball at least to the 45, which gives Bucker a 62-yard attempt, which is his career long. And yeah, they would have got it done, I feel like. I just can't believe the Chiefs lost that game. What's going on, Blake? Juju, man. I did one. I did a clone one. I did one on Bet365 with a boost. I did one myself and then did with Sam and my wife's account. It was $10 to win 180. Nothing crazy, but it was a 6-legger, and everything hit except for Chiefs -2.5. And like that would have been, risking 20 to win 350 is pretty nice, especially for her. I wanted her to win that one. And like, good for Trevor Lawrence though. Like that touchdown, dude, he gets stepped on by his guard and, almost gets tackled twice. Like, Trevor Lawrence looked like a real man. And we've been wanting that for Trevor Lawrence, to not be a statue and to play fucking football. And he actually played football tonight. Looked pretty accurate, pretty decisive. Loved it, man. The Jaguar defense did a good job on the Chiefs. Yeah, and a couple people asked me about starting the Jaguars defense, and I might need to reassess that because they're playmakers. They make plays. Not as many. They don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback, but they have a really, really elite linebacking crew and pretty versatile corners. So they're throwing some pretty nice stuff out there, and they score fantasy points for a defense, right? That's what you care about. Like, they can give up 24 points and still get you a nice fantasy outing, which kind of matters more than just like holding the other team to 10 points. That's nice too. You want the combination, but what they're doing right now is nice. So I'm on board with the Jags in general, and this was a huge game for the Jags. They're 4-1 now, and you got to keep up with the Colts, who's also 4-1. Who would have thought that division was going to be like competitive like this? We thought it'd be competitive the other way, where like all the teams suck dick. But you got 4-1 Colts, you have 4-1 Jags, you have 2-3 Texans, who, the Texans were the favorite coming into the year. So I think the Texans might be worth a little sprinkle. They're doing Blake, the Jags are doing a Houston Astros. Is that what I hear? Because that's not good. I didn't hear that. I know, yeah, there was a thing. There was a controversy of him saying, keep my, doing a Will Smith, keep my name out your fucking mouth, I believe is the quote. The famous Will Smith slap. I fucking love you, Will Smith, you psycho. That's the worst thing Will Smith's done since turning down Neo in The Matrix. I don't know if you guys know this, but Will Smith turned down the role of Neo because he thought the plot was confusing. Like, bro, it's an awesome role. Jesus. I'm glad they didn't go with Will Smith. He would have made it too funny and too like Will Smithy. I want Keanu with his like one-word answers that are amazing. Ooh, Wally says predict the NFC North division. I'm taking the Lions, dude. I like the Packers. I'm taking the Lions. Like, I think we all got a little ahead of our skis there on the Packers. The Lions are still like, the Lions have scored more. I saw the stat. They scored more points this year after 5 weeks than they scored last year. And I believe they broke the record for most points ever scored in the season last year. So their offense is humming. Jamison Williams isn't even involved yet. And the running backs are healthy. Jared Goff looks great. They still have a majority of indoor games. So give me the Lions. I'm still taking the Bears last. They're last. Someone, Team Money, someone said in my one of my fantasy group chats, it reminded them of James Harrison. Remember the James Harrison interception in the Super Bowl? That was 99 yards. That was awesome. I mean, we love seeing that. I like it when defensive linemen do it, though. Like, well, Harrison was a linebacker, but he was a little bigger. Yeah, I do remember that, Wally. Mark's dropping Judy for a quarterback. That's probably smart. It's Jared Goff, bro. Jared Goff, because especially like Jared Goff has had some pretty bad performances recently on the back of the team scoring 30-plus points. And last week it was, you're always going to get the rushing touchdowns, but last week you had David Montgomery throwing a touchdown as well as 2 rushing touchdowns. So you can always assume they have 2 rushing touchdowns a game. Usually they score 4, so he's going to have two passing touchdowns a game. And I just think that the Seahawks defense, once they get a little healthier in the week or two, are too good for Sam Darnold to be this relevant. They're not going to give up 35 points. He won't be throwing that much. Stafford over Jones this weekend. I know the Rams have the Ravens. I don't know who do the Colts have? I can look. Colts have. Why can't I see the Colts? Oh, Colts are at home against the Cardinals. Yeah, I want Stafford. That's just an easy matchup. He should throw three touchdowns there. 1-4 is not the end of the world, Blake. If you go 1-5, though, it's pretty much donezo. You can only lose one more game the rest of the year. You get to 2-4, then you get to 3-4, then your season starts. Yeah, man, Rams defense. I have them in 4 spots. Unfortunately, I started them in 4 spots this week, and they sucked. But that's an automatic with no Lamar and not a lot of players there. Baller, I don't think it was a fluke game from Ridley. I mean, I loved him coming into the year, and I was already eating crow on that one, taking the L. But, of course, he does it this game when no one started him. And a lot of times you couldn't because we didn't know he was active until after the noon games because they played at 3. And, of course, I started him in 1 league. I have him in, like, 5. And, of course, he has 140 fucking yards. When, like, the snap share was supposed to be limited, he barely played in the second half of week 4. Just wild stuff. He's fine. The worry was Iomanner, right? That he was taking a step forward, and Iomanner took a big step back in this game. I'm not worried about Shamir DK. Definitely not worried about Tyler Lockett. So, yeah, Ridley's back in the wide receiver 3 conversation. Bowers on IR. Got Theo currently. Rate these for the next 3 or 4 weeks. Theo, Taylor, Tunges, Barner. See, I'm not a believer in Barner just because I believe Elijah Arroyo is going to start taking some of his snaps. Now, Barner's killing it, so don't take anything away from Barner, but less pass volume there, and you have Elijah Arroyo in the fold. This next week, depending on what happens. Now, Bowers isn't on the actual IR mark. He might be on there, but he's not yet. So let's just assume this is for next week. And let's just say Bowers comes back week 7. He might even be back week 6. Tunges is probably the play if Pearsall and Jennings are both out again. Because we know that Kittle's not back. If one of those two, Pearsall or Jennings, is back, then I'm probably looking at either Theo or Taylor. In a PPR, I like Taylor more because Mason Taylor is getting all those dump-offs from Justin Fields. Theo's a touchdown upside guy. Tunges is kind of the all-purpose guy. He had 11 targets, let's not forget, on that Thursday night game. So I think those are your options. Rest of season, obviously Tunges is out of the conversation. I think it's Theo, and I'll tell you why. It's because Malik Neighbors is out, and Darius Slayton's hurt right now. So Theo Johnson has a chance to really, prove himself and like earn that secondary, not even secondary role, because Wan'Dale Robinson's just a slot receiver. Theo's a big body, super athletic dude, and he matches up to Jackson Dark's skill set. Like, he's going to check it down to him if he's going to check it down to anyone, him or Wan'Dale, and he's going to be the red zone target. So I like the bond they're building there. And Mason Taylor's solid. It's just a lot of garbage time, right? A lot of garbage time. Yeah, so PPR, I would probably lean Taylor. It's the Rams defense, team money, because they're facing the Ravens, and there's going to be no Lamar. So the Jags have, is it a division game? Jags have Seahawks at home against the Seahawks. Seahawks just put up 35 points. We just saw the Ravens have 3 points in the first 3.5 quarters of that game. So, yeah, that's the answer there. All right, Story should be on any minute. He's having a computer issue, but he's also a genius that has 4 degrees. I'm banking that he fixes it or figures it out. Ooh, don't we all? We all do.
I want to talk to Samson. Fly me to the moon like that bitch Alice Cram.
All right, a couple minutes from Story joining here. I'm going to play our first little intro here before Story gets on.
Welcome to the Professional Fanatics live stream.
That's one way to kick it off.
Hampton's gone. Me and Story are going to talk about that and what we got to do about that one. Wally, starting Garrett Wilson no matter what. Garrett Wilson's just getting 10 targets a game. So now that is a tough matchup against Sertan, but here's the upside is that Garrett Wilson does not just play outside. Now the concerning thing is Patrick Sertan is not really what they call a shadow corner because they have such a good defense and they trust him just to lock down one side of the field. But last week he shadowed AJ Brown like something like 80%, Wally. So AJ Brown's not as versatile as Garrett Wilson, so I think they're going to be smart. And they know Garrett Wilson's their offense. I'll get to your comment here in a second, J-Bob. They know he's going to come back. They know Garrett Wilson is their whole offense. They need him, right? So I think they're going to use him in a lot of creative ways. Now, what does that work or not? I don't know. But unless you have Cortland Sutton on your bench, you're starting Garrett Wilson. J-Bob, thank you for the $5 donation. Appreciate you. The Birds return with vengeance this Thursday. Bench all your Giants players. You've been warned. No, here's the thing. Cam Scatterbo, I'm starting because Cam Scatterbo will probably get 6 receptions. Wan'Dale Robinson, guys like that, yeah, tough matchup. But Cam Scatterbo, and you can kind of run on the Eagles a little bit. So, again, I'm not benching a running back that's going to get 20 touches. Now, they're going to get touches, but he might be able to fall in the end zone. I'd say Rashad, elite. Ladd, Rashad, and yes, trade King Henry for James Cook. That would be my advice on those comments. Rashad for sure, especially because McLaurin's probably coming back. Is it time to panic on Henry? It might be a tough start this week, Meraki, but look at the schedule. Just go and do. This is part of my Ravens Super Bowl bet. Right now, the Ravens are 17-1. I'm not touching that. They're going to lose this week against the Rams. They were going to lose anyway without Lamar, that is. But the Rams lost one of the worst games against literally backups in the Niners. The Rams need this game. Now, so do the Ravens, I guess, because they'll be 1-5 if they lose and they have a bye week. But look at the Ravens schedule, week 8 through week 18. It's the easiest fucking thing I've ever seen. So the Ravens are still going to win 10 games, even if they lose this game. So wait for the Ravens to lose this game. Bet $1,000 or $100 or $50 or $10, whatever you want, on Ravens plus 22-1 or 25-1, whatever it goes to when they lose. And that's part of my Henry love is that he's going to be just fine. He looks fine. It's not a Henry problem, right? He looks fine. Yeah, Mark. Philly's defense is a play this week. We saw the Saints defense. We saw the Saints defense dominate, and the Saints do not have a good defense. Now, granted, that was at home, but the Saints have a bad defense. So the fact that they did good in real life and really good in fantasy, Jackson Dart's an aggressive player. He's going to throw interceptions. He's going to have fumbles. He's going to make mistakes. Now, they might put up some points. I don't think they're putting up a lot of points against the Eagles. So now you have a most likely under 17 points scored by the Giants and some turnovers. Giants D is probably a top 5 play, and you add into Thursday night game, which is usually right for turnovers. You're saying I look like Trevor Lawrence? What? Do I really? I mean, I guess some girls think he's handsome. I think he's a weird looking dude. Maybe I have to grew my hair out a little bit. Mark, I don't know if they're going to win the division if they go 1-5. All they have is the Steelers. I'm saying they're going to make the playoffs. Now, this win by the Jaguars makes that a little trickier because now you have the Jaguars firmly in the mix for that wild card, and they're 4-1. I think 10 wins still gets you. It's not going to be 11 wins to make the wild card in the AFC. It'll be 10. I think that the Ravens, if they go 1-5, they just have to go 9-2 the rest of the way. And again, look at their schedule. It's going to be all about Lamar's health, but if they sit him down this week, as in week 6, and they have a week 7 bye, he'll come back fully healthy. If he gets re-hurt again, they're fucked. Don't get me wrong. You can say that about any team. So yeah, I think they're still going to make the playoffs. I would say they have an 80% chance of making the playoffs if they come back healthy, depending on the defensive health. But my thing is if they make the playoffs, their odds are going to go to 8-1 or 6-1 if they're healthy going into the playoffs, regardless of how many home games they have. So that's just a good bet. And the Bills lost to the Patriots last night. Let's not forget that. I love the Bills, but their defense can be got for sure. And we saw the Ravens manhandle the Bills. They lost that game because of crazy shit, but they were up by 2 touchdowns. I don't know what the play calling was in that game down the stretch, but I still think the Ravens are a really tough matchup for the Bills. Yeah, Patrick Ricard being out, dude. They're losing they have 7 All-Pros out. So team money, amen, bro. Tucker Kraft, son. That's a key because I love Tucker Kraft. We all love Tucker Kraft, and he's gonna be healthy, right? He was playing a little nicked up, not Brock Bowers level nicked up, but he had multiple. He hurt his knee week 3. No, it was week 2 in that Thursday night game. He tweaked it. I saw that. And he came back in the game, and then the prior to week 3 hurt it again in practice. So he's been playing through some injury, and that's a big week off for him. So I'm very excited about that. 3-parter for the flex: Diggs, Stevenson, or Henderson. Diggs, Stevenson, or Henderson. For quarterback, Dak or May. For tight end, Theo Johnson or Ingram. Ingram actually had some life last week. The touchdown was kind of garbage, but I'm going to say Theo Johnson. I'm going to say, again, sorry, it's so early. It's still in week 5 mode for me, so I don't know who plays who. So Dak or May. Cowboys have the Panthers, which is money, and then the Patriots have. Fuck the Patriots have. Oh, Saints. Man, probably Drake May, depending on the scoring. If it's 4 for a passing touchdown, give me Drake May. If it's 6 for a passing touchdown, give me Dak. And then the scoring, I'm going to assume this is PPR, Meraki. It's not Stevenson. It's not Henderson. It's Diggs. Diggs, May, Theo. I am not a Steelers believer. I think they're a decent team, but I am not really a Steelers believer personally. Good call. They said that the Ravens have lost $160 million due to injury right now. Here he is, right on time. Mike Story. Look at this guy.
Hey, just heads up. I'm having major internet. My internet's out, so I'm using a what do you call it? A pairing or like a you know what I'm talking about, where you use your phone's internet. Yeah, I'm using a hotspot on this computer. So if it cuts out,
it's better than Ray's.
Okay, well that's good. Seems to be working.
Yeah, you're good. And you look better than ever. How about that game tonight? All right, gentlemen, we're going to hold off on the questions and do our little recap. I got a couple of things planned for Story and me. Talk some football, 20 minutes or so. You can keep on asking questions. We will get to them. If you need something answered right away, if you don't have much time, hit me with a little super chat. I will get it right away for you. Other than that, we'll get to all of them eventually. So, Elite says hot guy using hotspot makes sense.
Hey,
real quick, I'll get to Meraki's here. Are you saying I should sit Henry this week? I would probably start him over Charbonnet, maybe Walker over him, but I'm probably still starting him. No problem, Meraki. I think Meraki might be our 2400 sub, by the way. So that's elite. No, he didn't. Maybe he did and didn't show up. Anyways, all right. What's going on, Story? Give me your impressions of that game, first thoughts of that game, and what do you think?
Well, it was good to see the Jaguars show a little heart tonight. That was exciting. Trevor Lawrence looked bad for a good chunk of it, but when push came to shove, they managed to buckle down. And I think the Chiefs kind of shot themselves in the foot on defense there. A couple of bad penalties late, just making some silly mistakes on their end. they're not committed to the run game. If I know we're not doing one big thing, but my one big thing is Pacheco's droppable, dude. I see zero reason to hold on to him. You're going to be tempted
Kareem Hunt
to
had 2
start him.
touchdowns.
Kareem Hunt is the goal line back. Kareem Hunt had as many carries. Kareem Hunt had a better yards per carry. The only one that actually
and Brashard Smith. Hey, and Brashard Smith got some stuff too.
I was going to say Brashard Smith. He only got 1 carry, but he got 3 receptions. So they're splitting up.
He looked good too.
They're splitting up carries. It's a team that doesn't kind of feel like they're gelling. Travis Kelce, I know he had a couple of catches and runs, 7 for 61. He had that touchdown, which, come on, I mean, that was ridiculous. But
yeah, he's a zombie out there, bro. But he's still savvy. He's like the new Mark Andrews, right? Where like he's gonna need to have 7 touchdowns the rest of the year to return value or to be like a consistent starter on your lineup.
At least you're going to have situations where the offensive line will protect Mahomes enough that Kelce is he's savvy enough to get open. So you're going to have that, unlike Mark Andrews, TJ Hawkinson, etc. So but he's not the number 1 overall tight end. I don't know who is the number 1 overall tight end. Trey McBride, Tyler Warren, Trucker Kraft.
Right now it's Ferguson right now technically.
Well, he's hurt. Did you see that?
Really?
Yeah.
No. I want to say one thing about Pacheco that actually is like kind of a weird point. So if you're in like a deeper league, like even a 12-teamer that has like a flex 3 receivers, right, and like deep benches, he's probably worth holding on to if you get a rash of injuries and bye weeks because, essentially he's almost like a handcuff at this point, but like there's actually no injury that would like thrust him into a main role. So like he's less valuable than Blake Corum if there's an injury, but I'd feel more comfortable still starting Pacheco over the handcuffs. So, like, if you're in a deep league, like, he can still get you 7 points. Now, that's not how we like to play. That's not how we like to play fantasy story. We want guys that, like, can do something on our bench, with injury or like depth chart changes. But at least he is tied to the Chiefs offense, which should be good. But unfortunately, there's no path for him to be, like, a comfortable every week RB2, I think is what you were saying.
That is correct. I don't see him. I mean, you're looking at 8.6 in a PPR, 7.1 in a half. Kareem Hunt is very clearly the goal line back there. I'm not convinced that I would start or even hold Pacheco over Kareem Hunt at this point.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, who's got a better chance of falling into the end zone? Pacheco doesn't seem like he can break anything long enough to. I mean, both of them had over 5 yards of carry, and the Chiefs are not committed to running the ball either. And this is such a whirlwind of Thornton, Brown, Worthy, Smith, Pacheco, Schuster. I don't know. Outside of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, what do you really want on this team?
Nothing. Did you tell those 2 bets tonight, Story, or what?
Nope, I didn't. What? I know. Lawrence with 54 yards rushing today. What did you get? I
laddered that bitch.
Up to what?
I laddered up to 70 because that was 40 to 1. I did 25, 30, 40, 50.
What did 50 hit?
And 60 and 70 didn't. 50 was 15 or 17 to 1.
Okay. So there you go.
I don't do much. So I'll give you guys my strategy real quick for laddering. So I put like 130, 140, 125, whatever it is. I think it's like 130 on each of my like big bets, right? And then for the ladder, I start with $5 for like for Lawrence, for instance, it was 10 yards was his number. So I put $5 on the 25. Then I will put $4 on 30, then $3 on 40, then $2 on, what I'm saying? All the way up to the top one, I only put like 50 cents on when it's like 40 to 1, which, you're only winning $20, but you're literally risking 50 cents. So it ends up being $12 bet. And like when they all hit, you're winning your original bet, obviously. And then it's just a way to like win an extra $50, only risking, $12. Or actually, it's more than that. It's usually win like an extra 80. Like on the Shaheed thing, I won 120 from the ladder. I only risked $12. So like you're not going to hit most of the time, and you're just adding another $12 loss if you do lose the original bet. But if you're hitting it in 10% of the time, you're actually making a pretty good profit.
Well, I mean, that's a good strategy, assuming you can find those spots where the guy is going to be running quite a bit. This was not an unusual game per se, but it was, I'd say, somewhat unexpected in Trevor Lawrence rushing for 50-plus yards. You don't really see that. It's
what we've been asking Trevor Lawrence to do forever. Look at Justin Herbert now. And the difference is Justin Herbert was hurt. That's why he wasn't running. Trevor Lawrence has been relatively healthy, and he just is a statue back there.
you had Brenton Strange, who was kind of his safety valve, go out early in that game. I'm sure contributed to it as well. And I don't think anybody foresaw the fumble pickup scramble to the end zone. Right? That was
you
had that tonight. You had the Cardinals interception that was fumbled, returned for a touch. It's just a weird week. I had my first bad beat in fantasy all year long tonight. I started Brenton Strange, and I was playing against Xavier Worthy, and I was up by 5 going into the night. And Brenton Strange goes out. He gets 1 catch for 22 yards. And if I had just hung on to TJ Hawkinson, I would have had the victory, unfortunately. So
or started Tunges. Or there was a bunch of tight ends. Theo Johnson, your guy?
Theo is the number 1 tight end in the week.
Oh, the week. Yeah, I thought you said the league. I was like, oh, shit.
No, the week. He's the number 1 tight end in the week.
So I got another thing I want to do here, ADP versus production. But before we get to that, I want to hear your Travis Hunter thoughts because you saw him get hurt on that play defending Brian Thomas. I think it was Brian Thomas in the end zone, that deep ball. It must have been just cramping. But, like, what are they doing here with Travis Hunter? Because they not only did they take was it 4th overall on Travis Hunter? Second, was it 3rd overall?
Second.
Okay, even worse, bro. Mind blowing. Okay, but they traded up to do so. And they gave up next year's future first round, which actually doesn't look that bad now if they win 12 games, for instance, but still not a good trade. And he's not specializing in anything. He's not being a difference maker anywhere. He's just a regular corner. Like, he's actually not even good. He can't tackle. He looks tiny. He doesn't have the fundamentals that you need to be an NFL corner. And he's getting beat regularly. And in offense, he's just behind the 8 ball because he's just not, they're not playing him enough. And also, he's just not in the, you could see that he's just not involved like he should be. Whether that be he's not prepped properly, he's just not comfortable. And again, looks really small. So they're not getting any impact on either side of the ball from the guy. And they need to just play him on situational, like, not like they played Gronk. Remember Gronk playing in that Hail Mary, which was hilarious. Like, not that specialized, which is a bad decision for the Gronk thing. But you need to play him on, like, 3rd and 12. Bring him in, like, 6 snaps a half. When you need to bring an extra defensive back, and now you have a ball hawk out there, which he is a ball hawk, but he's not a cover corner, or put him at safety. I don't know what the hell to do with him, but like, you can't split time, Story, right?
Well, I'd have to go back and see the snap counts on both sides of the ball, but looking at his defensive metrics, he had 1 pass defended and 2 solo tackles, which tells me he didn't play an awful lot on defense. Three receptions for 64 yards is fine, only 3 targets. That's concerning. If they continue this stretch of splitting time with him, he's a spot start only, like not even a regular flex. Oh yeah, he's a bye week fill-in at best.
I was more talking real life though, also, like, because that's gonna bleed into fantasy the rest of the season, right? But like the real life thing, like, what are they doing? Like, what are the Jags doing here? It was just a dumb. Like, unless they knew he could play both sides and like play and like impact right away, no one can do that. That's a veteran move. He's a rookie.
Bad. Well, no one in the NFL should be playing 2 ways unless you're literally an elite talent. I'm talking. Yeah, he's a great athlete. He's a great player. But the bottom line is he was a 2-way player in the Pac-12 for a couple of years, and then eventually what the hell are they in now? The Big 12? I don't even know what they're in. Maybe the AAC. I don't know. ACC. I think doesn't matter, right? It's not top tier competition. So, yeah, he might have the stamina to do it, but clearly Jacksonville doesn't know what they want to do with him, what they want him to become. He played far fewer snaps on defense last week, and so I don't know what Liam Cohen was trying to accomplish with this. This just is like move him in one position and be done with it. If you want him to be a cover corner, let him be a cover corner. If you want him to be, a nickel, let him be a nickel. Like, if you want him to play in situational stuff and let him be the nickel, come in a nickel and dime packages, fine, do that. But either that or just move them over to wide receiver because clearly they need wide receiver help. Nobody besides Brian Thomas caught more than 4 passes. So it's spread around. Parker Washington is, again, he's a fine player. He caught that touchdown. Yeah. But Diami Brown catching passes. They're not even using ETN in the passing game, which is very disappointing.
No.
Johnny Munt, right? They're not using Tootin. Tootin, what the hell? What do you do with baseball?
He's a handcuff now. Strictly a handcuff.
So, yeah, I don't know.
All right,
I don't know. But again, dumb coaches and dumb teams will do dumb things. So,
well, we thought Liam Cohen, he's a good he's a good offensive mind. He's just not a good head coach at this point. And
like,
that remains to be seen if he will be.
You don't know what the split is in the facility. Like, is he spending time with the corners? Is he spending time with the wide receivers? What film is he watching? You're talking to a guy letting him do double work. He probably didn't do any work at Colorado because he's just such a good athlete. He didn't need to do all that stuff. Now in the NFL, it's a different game altogether. It's why I have concerns about guys that come from sub-tier programs, unless they just like absolutely murder everybody in their path, like Ash and Genty, actually making that transition to the next level.
Let's talk about Hampton. So Hampton to the IR just dropped today. Didn't seem like that bad. These things are escalating so quickly, where it's like day to day, probably missing next week to IR, and then usually here's the thing is that could be a 6-week injury. It's a high ankle sprain, right? Am I correct?
It is a high ankle sprain. So the speculation this morning was usually with high ankle sprains, you're looking at either 1 week missed or like 4 to 6 weeks missed. And this is very clear the 4 to 6 week kind.
Hey, so look at Tajay Spears, bro. Tajay Spears injured that the week 1 of the preseason, right? And he missed 4 games. So he would have missed 7 games had it been, had that happened week 1 of the NFL season. So he missed 7 weeks, I guess you'd say. So I'm not going to say 7 weeks, but probably 6 weeks for Hampton, right?
I would say it could be 4. He's young, right? But it's a It basically, I mean, this is beyond a strain. This is literal tears in the tendon that connect the 2 joints together, and it depends on how fast he heals. If he heals and he's back in 4 weeks, that's fine. But there's going to be a ramp up production. When guys come back from high ankle sprains, there's always a lead up. Sometimes it's like the studies say like 70% effectiveness in week 1, and then like 85, and then like 100. It's going to take several weeks. The big question is, what do Hampton owners do? And I don't have a good answer for you because nobody knows. I've been looking online, and people are talking about Haskins. People are talking about Vidal. I think the realistic answer is it's going to be a complete committee and a team that is devastated at offensive line, that is showing weaknesses across the I'm not picking these guys up. I'm not going to the waiver wire tomorrow night and dropping.
And they weren't running the ball. They weren't running the ball until week 4. Essentially, they weren't running the ball at all. So even now, why would they run the ball with like back?
They still have the highest pass rate over expectation in the entire NFL. So
yeah.
Right. So you think you're going to want to run the ball now?
Is this the craziest injury like start to a year for fantasy for injuries we've ever had?
I know
it's like recency bias, but
what did we we got really lucky that our only real injury in preseason was Jaden Reed, right? Like we didn't have any season-long season-ending injuries in preseason this year, which is unusual.
Yeah, Rashad White and Tajay Spears, who are backups.
Yeah, that was Tajay Spears Rashad White.
Those weren't in it. Those were only like best ball. It only affected best ball in reality. So I'm going to read you this list real quick. Listen to this list. Okay. So, and also, like, I'm adding a guy like Chase Brown in here because he's directly affected by the Burrow injury. Same with Jamar Chase. Not as much Jamar Chase, but you get where I'm going. So, quarterbacks, Burrow out for the year. Daniels missed 2 games. Lamar is going to miss 2 games at least. Probably just 2. Chase Brown, I'm adding in here because you drafted him in the 2nd round. He's just never going to return that without Burrow. Bucky Irving looks like multiple weeks for sure. Chuba Hubbard looking like multiple weeks. James Conner out for the year. Tyron Tracy, 3 weeks. Marion Hampton now is IR. Aaron Jones, IR. Wide receivers, Jamar Chase, first overall pick. Lamb, IR. Neighbors out for the year. Tyreek out for the year. Mike Evans, IR. Worthy missed the first. It's actually worse because he didn't play the first. He played 1 snap. And then McLaurin has missed, now it'll be 2 games. And Kittle is on IR, and Bowers is probably missing another couple weeks. Like, those guys are all in the top 6 rounds, dude.
Yeah, it's bad. And what's crazy is this, it's not like so many of these happened after the games were over and done with, or it was like little like the Bowers one was like, oh, it's just a little PCL sprain, and most guys can play through a PCL sprain. Now he's out. Now there's talk about shutting him down until after the bye week. That seems like a wasted pick. Inevitably, you're going to have these wasted picks, but if you ended up drafting Neighbors, you could have gotten lucky with maybe, I don't know, where was Bucky Irving going? In the 2nd round?
Yeah, mid-second.
So if Bowers fell, you could have had Neighbors, Bucky, Bowers. Like, you're in bad shape.
Season's over, bro. Yeah.
I mean,
I lost Tyreek and Neighbors in a league, and I'm like 3-2 somehow. But like my prospect is a PPR league with a flex. Like my my prospects aren't looking good. I lost my first and my first and fourth round pick.
Yeah, I mean, in one league, Tyrone Tracy, fine, whatever. He was supposed to be a spot start in the beginning of the season. But this week I had Bucky Irving, Terry McLaurin, and Brock Bowers all on IR in that league. No big surprise there. I ended up losing. It's difficult. This is fantasy football, though. Some years are going to be easier than others in terms of navigating injuries. Last year seemed to be the case. This year, you're going to have to be smart about it. You're going to have to make strategic pickups and be aware of matchups and actually play to the strength of your team. Make those moves mid-season that are going to help you and help the other team.
Churn that bench. Churn that bench, right, Story?
Yeah, I mean,
that's
Tracy got hurt.
You don't want to have guys like DeAndre Hopkins on your bench.
No, you don't want to have guys like DeAndre Hopkins. Rashard Smith, it was returning kicks tonight for the Chiefs.
Yeah, he did well.
I guess that's good.
All right,
if you got
we're going to move on. Yeah, for sure. We're going to move on to ADP versus production. What this is, we're going to go through. It's been 5 weeks. So I'm going to give you about 7 names. We're going to talk through them, and we're going to say with where they're at right now in terms of where they're ranked, what their production is. Do you believe in the production more or where they were drafted more? Are they more likely to finish closer to where they were drafted in fantasy drafts or where they're producing currently? So I'm going to start out running back here. Saquon Barkley right now is RB9, and that's kind of a fictitious stat because there's been so many injuries. He's performing way worse than that. Like last year with this production, he would have been RB15, I want to say. Anyways, he was third overall running back, top 4 pick. Is he closer to RB9 as like a mid-second round pick, say? So is he closer to this, what he's doing, or is he closer to where you drafted him rest of season?
Oh, I think this is going to sound like a cop-out for the very first one, but I think he's smack dab in the middle. He's not going to return overall running back 2 value, but he's not going to be as bad. I thought he was like RB12, but he's not going to be as bad as RB9, RB10. I think at some point they're going to figure some things out on offense, and you'll see that team kind of take a step forward. So I put him like in that RB6 to 7 range for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
Like Bijan, Gibbs are obvious ones. CMC, Ashton Genty probably over him, I believe. Well, I don't know. That offense is going to be really hot and cold all year long.
You want Barkley over Genty.
Josh Jacobs. I certainly think that one. I think I'd take Saquon over Derrick Henry though rest of the season, especially with the Lamar.
I still think I want Barkley over Josh Jacobs, man. So Barkley right now, I'm having him closer to where you drafted him, and that's not just because of the landscape of everyone being hurt. It's that he has underperformed. That offense has actually underperformed. I know they're 4-1, but he will be better. They will be better. He has yet to have a single rush of over like 15 yards this year, dude. Like Saquon was literally blasting off a 50-yarder every other game last year, and he looks a little bit diminished. There's definitely some wear and tear from last year, but he's still Saquon Barkley. He still has a speed. It's just laterally not as great, but not worried about Barkley at all. Next one, J.K. Dobbins, RB12 on the year. He was a 10th round pick. So this might be it might be easy, but it might not be because I don't think they're going away from him.
No, I don't think so either. I think he's going to perform on the higher end side of that as opposed to where he was drafted. He has already returned value. You're very happy with where it has unfolded. And Harvey's looked good in spots, but Sean Payton hasn't given any indication, and J.K. Dobbins has given him no reason to go away from him. So it's a volume play. It's a good offense play. I think that you're going to see some regression from Dobbins, but he's the guy. So I'm going to assume health for all of this. There's risk built in with Dobbins more so than other guys, but yeah, I think he's closer to where his production is versus his ADP.
All right, we're going to take injury out of this. Moving on to tight end here. Jake Ferguson, I know he's banged up. Let's assume he plays and everything's fine. He's tight end 1 right now. He was a 10th round pick, so like tight end 13. Are you believing in the tight end 1, top 5 tight end that Ferguson is, or are you believing in the fringe starter of Jake Ferguson? Mind you, CeeDee Lamb will be back in 2 weeks.
CeeDee Lamb will be back in 2 weeks, so that does give me some pause. Yeah, I'm more of the mindset of he's going to be a very solid back-end tight end 1, mid to low-end tight end 1. We've seen his production when CeeDee Lamb is on the field take a significant hit. Dak is playing very, 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 very well. If that keeps up, we could see a repeat of his 2023 season, but I don't think that's going to happen. Their offensive line is still troubling. The defense is also very bad, but Ferguson doesn't profile as a Trey McBride type of guy. It seems like a lot of big plays, touchdowns is really driving value here. So yeah, I'm on the ADP side.
Fucking 0 touchdowns last year for fucking Ferguson. God damn it. Meanwhile, the other guys had like 3 other tight ends there. I'm gonna agree with you. I think this one's more smack dab in the middle. I think he's like a top 6, top 7 guy, just because the field is so weak. But it's not. It's a sell time for Ferguson. If you have Ferguson, it's an easy sell, right? Easy sell.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
There's a chance you have a good tight end also on your roster, right? Or you
have I would think so, unless you got rid of him, unless you ended up trading him.
Okay, next one here. Dalton Kincaid, his tight end 2 story in PPR. He was the same spot, 10th round, like tight end 13 off the board. Are you a believer more in Kincaid or Ferguson? Let's start there.
Kincaid. Realistically, it seems to be that Josh Allen and him have made a little connection this year. So give me what I think is still a better offense with the better quarterback. And if nobody, Shakir, Coleman, Josh, what the hell's his name? Palmer. If nobody's going to step up and be the guy, then Kincaid's going to, I think, continue. So I'm on the production side of that one.
Just being tied to Josh Allen. That's really it. And like the touchdowns will be there. And he also is a pretty nice PPR option. It's just, can he play more snaps? And he has looked not great as a blocker this year. That was his biggest slight, right? In the past, he put on some weight. He looks competent as a blocker this year, which should make him see the field, instead of 52%, maybe 65%, which, in the Bills offense, they rotate everyone. So that's actually good. All right. Wide receivers, Michael Pittman, the guy that you slandered on the podcast story on record. We had like a 10-minute argument about Colts receivers versus Packers receivers. You said Pittman sucks. I said Pittman's good. Pittman, wide receiver 13. 13 in the year.
I want to hear what you think, because last night you did say, quote, it's still the Colts, it's still Daniel Jones. So if you think they're going to take a step back, what do you feel about this Pittman situation?
So he's wide receiver 13. He was about a 9th round pick. So that was like why he was like wide receiver 47 off the board. So we're saying right now he's 13 and 47 is where he was drafted. Probably closer to 13. I think he's wide receiver 25, right? I think he's a borderline wide receiver 2, probably more of a high-end wide receiver 3, which would beat out the ADP that you drafted him at. And he's scoring touchdowns. Like, that's the difference. Because he was never a touch. He was, he'd have those 100-catch years where he had 5 touchdowns all year. And what does he have, 3 touchdowns already?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. And, like, there's such a revolving door there. Josh Downs is never going to be an every snap player. Although I love Josh Downs. They have Warren in their blocking a lot. Adonai Mitchell is just doghouse for days. And Alec Pierce is hurt. So, yes, Alec Pierce has his downfield role. Josh Downs has his slot, kind of chain moving role. But Michael Pittman is the alpha there, and he is the go-to guy on 3rd down. And he also goes down the field a little bit. So where are you at?
I'm kind of in your end, or your lane. I think that we're looking at a low end wide receiver 2, high end wide receiver 3. I do think that production is going to slow down a little bit for this Colts offense. You also have to be aware that Jonathan Taylor could take up a lot of production in that there's going to be games where they don't need to throw the ball very much. So I think we're going to see him fall back to earth a little bit, but you're certainly going to get much better value than when you draft. If he was drafted in the 40s, I think you're looking at the middle of 20s.
Yeah, it looks like a great pick, man. It was always like we didn't take him, and a lot of guys didn't take him because it was an unsexy pick. And it seems very sexy now, right? It's like that girl that's like that. What's the teen movie where he dials her up and like he makes her super hot in high school? What the hell?
She's all that.
She's all that. So he's like she's all that girl. Where it's like you take and that chick's actually super hot, but like they made her look gross with glasses and her hair in a bun and the baggy clothes.
I mean, gross.
Well, you know what I mean. They made her look regular. And Michael Pittman was looked at as a regular player. And now, the glasses are off, bro. The hair is down. She's wearing a fucking bikini.
Dude,
and she's super sexy.
That movie never made sense. Rachel Lee Cook was hot regardless of if she had glasses.
Yeah.
And the plain, plain clothes she was wearing. dumb.
It should have been like right? Like that would have been better because she could look like weird.
Like
or
who?
Who's Helena Bonham Carter? That's the chick
Oh,
from
yeah.
Fight Club.
She's a little
or who's Vicky Valancourt? Who's that actress? That's in American History X. Like someone like that.
Bruce the Bulk.
Yeah, she's weird. I love her though. All right, next one here. Jameson Williams. This one hits close to home here. You know what Jameson Williams is right now, ranked season long?
Wide receiver 53.
51. Nice guess.
Oh.
And he had a game where he had 110 yards and a touchdown. Granted, it was only 2 catches, and this is PPR. But he was a 5th-round pick. He is wide receiver 51 story. Jameson Williams. Are you closer to the wide receiver 51, or are you? Let's say he was going off the board wide receiver 24 this year. Is it wide receiver 24? Is he going to be closer to that, or wide receiver 51?
Wide receiver, closer to wide receiver 51.
Whoa!
What do you think is going to change in this offense? They love running the ball, and Jared Goff find you someone that loves you like Jared Goff loves underneath passes to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like,
yeah, my wife. Yeah, she loves me like that.
And Laporta is going to take up a lot, so you're going to have games where it's not even necessary to get him the ball. He's still a bit of a knucklehead. I don't think that's going to come into play, but until they start losing, which I don't think they are, they're still one of the best teams in the NFL. There's no reason to change things up there, so it's going to be extremely volatile. He'll have games, but I think you're looking at probably like a high-end wide receiver 4, realistically.
Ooh,
yeah,
wow,
it's tough.
That's rough. I think I'm going to bet on Jameson Williams next week's story for the yards because it might be at like 42.5. And here's the thing: is they always look for him early in the game. And same with this game. He got 2 targets like in the first 4 minutes of the game. Didn't see another target. The game against the Ravens on Monday Night Football, he had in the first drive he had 2 catches for 36 yards, not another catch. So they are looking for him, and then they just go away from it. And I am going closer to the 5th round, the wide receiver 24. I think he is still a high end wide receiver 3, maybe not quite high end. I'd say mid-level wide receiver 3, wide receiver 30 or so, just based on the big playability. He will hit. It's going to be frustrating, but he looks fine. It's not like he's not playing well. It's not like he's dropping passes either. He's just not getting the looks. And the fact that they have scored, I know maybe that's a deterrent for what I'm saying. They've scored more points this year through 5 weeks than last year when they broke the record for points scored. Right. And why would they change anything? And I think the other factor we got to factor in here is Isaac Tesla could take some of his snaps away. That hasn't happened yet. The crazy thing is he's wide receiver 51, and that has not happened yet, which is concerning. But I'm not giving up on him because he's attached to Jared Goff, and they're going to have some dome games. And I see him having 3, 4, 5 deep 80-yard, 70-yard, 60-yard time, which is going to make those weeks guaranteed. And then maybe he gets a couple, 5 for 55 games or something.
Maybe.
Which we never see from him, but we didn't see the step back coming. I mean, because I bet on his season total yards of was it 875? It's not looking good.
No, what's he on pace?
I thought that was an injury thing.
Somewhere around 600?
680?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing is, that can switch in a heartbeat. He can have 160 yards, right? And 3 catches.
Yes.
So, okay, we got 2 more names here, gentlemen, in the chat. We'll get to all your questions here. If you want to start laying them on us, we will get to them. Might be a little delayed, but we will get to them soon. Brian Thomas Jr., I don't have the numbers written down here because I was a little pissed about losing that parlay I sent you. Ooh, Mark with a good call. Look at this super chat from Mark. Thank you again, Mark. Appreciate you. I told the chat, I put a little goal in here. If I get 10 super chats, I will chug a beer. We've got 3.
Nice. Okay.
He says, no, it's funny. He says Pickens ADP versus production. That is my last name after Brian Thomas. So I have 2 more names, and Pickens was the last one. Good. Mark's a smart guy. We will do Pickens now, and we'll do BTJ last. So right now, George Pickens, wide receiver 6. And you know what's crazy about that? Remember week 1, Thursday night, opening night? He had 3 for 30. Including that, he is wide receiver 6, bro, in PPR, which isn't really his format. And he was a 5th-round pick. He was about wide receiver 26. So are you taking, again, keep in mind, CeeDee Lamb coming back in 2 weeks, most likely.
Right.
Wide receiver 6 for Pickens or wide receiver 26 for Pickens?
He's not going to maintain a wide receiver 6 pace. It's just impossible, in my opinion. But I'm closer to the wide receiver 6 than I am in the wide receiver 26. I like you. I was high on Pickens this year. It's really great to see him.
Yeah, he was a PP of both of our story.
Yeah, and so the fact that Dak is playing well and the Cowboys defense is bad means a lot of production is incoming, and he's the type of talent that can elevate over even mediocre play. So I'm probably put him around wide receiver 15 rest of the season. So it's kind of right in the middle there.
Yeah, I'd agree. I feel like he's gonna be more of a touchdown or bust guy. And I'm not saying bust, but like week to week, he's gonna be, to try to finish in the wide receiver ones weekly. It's touchdown dependent, which you could say that about a lot of guys, not Puka Nacua, for instance. He's not gonna have games where he has 9 for 100. Like that's not George Pickens' game. Definitely not in this offense with CeeDee Lamb. Right. But eventually, the nice thing is that Ferguson has 41 catches. Like that's not going to continue. So Ferguson might take a step back. Pickens might maintain a little bit what he's doing because he looks great, right? And like now, what's really valuable, what's going on now, story with George Pickens, is he's building a really good rapport with Dak. Now you saw in week 1 and a little bit in the Giants game, right? He was stuck at like 2 for 40, 2 for 30 in the first 3 quarters of that Giants game. Right. Then he had like 4 catches, 80 yards and a touchdown in that crazy fourth quarter. So like ever since then, you see the rapport, like the confidence that Dak has, back shoulders, timing routes. If it's a 6-7 man pressure, he's just trusting George Pickens, and that's only going to keep on going when you have CeeDee Lamb taking double coverage. So that's the upside right now with Pickens. This is very valuable for his rest of the season production of the trust in an elite. Let's be honest, like what you believe in Dak is one thing in terms of like being a kingmaker for receivers like Matt Stafford has been. Dak Prescott's an elite fantasy quarterback for the receivers and his passing game weapons. So I'm going to lean more towards this wide receiver 6 thing. And I'm not trying to be biased because I have a lot of Pickens, but he looks great. It's just, this is why we've loved George Pickens the last 3 years, is that he's not just a deep threat. He has it all. He's good on the sideline. He's got strong hands. Like, have you ever seen George Pickens make a body catch in your life?
No. I mean, I was high on him last year. I loved him.
We both were, yeah. And it was fine. And then it just like his second half was just dog shit. His effort was dog shit. The team was dog shit. Pickens is fight. He had more fights than catches a couple of those games.
It was very clear he didn't want to be there. It seems like he's in I mean, it's weird to say this about Dallas, but like a better environment for him, like a team that actually wants to use him.
When Dallas is a better environment, that's fucked up.
It is really weird to think about that. But yeah, I can't put him as a wide receiver 1. I can't do it. There's too many other good talents out there. But
no, I just said closer to wide receiver 1 could be wide receiver 14. Right.
Yeah.
Closer to like wide receiver 6 is wide receiver 14 opposed to 26. All right. Last name here, Brian Thomas Jr. I'm guessing he's like probably wide receiver 30-ish on the year, 35 maybe after tonight. Because I think he had 4 for 70 tonight. Still not good.
Not great. Not bad. I mean, certainly better, right? Like
he has no receiving touchdowns though. He only has a rushing touchdown.
Yeah.
5 weeks, bro.
Up until last week, Tyler Warren didn't have any rush or receiving touchdowns. So,
yeah, he's rushing in, and he don't ever besmirch Tyler Warren. You love Tyler Warren.
I'm just giving you an example. Yeah, he went 4 for 8 or 6 targets, 4 for 80. So the targets have been there. They continue to be there. I'm more on he's a wide receiver 1 side of things than I am. The dude's just going to keep going wide receiver 30 plus. I agree. You need this offense has got to start clicking. And at some point, they're going to start getting Brian Thomas. Him and Lawrence are going to connect. And it took, it was him and Mac Jones last year, and that was kind of the concern, like what's it going to look like? But it's not like anybody's stepping up. It's not like Travis Hunter or Parker Washington. Parker Washington might be getting some red zone looks, but it's not like Parker Washington is blowing up for 120 yards and taking everything that Brian Thomas. It's there. It's just he's got to step up, make the catches, and Lawrence and him got to get on the same page. And then I think you could see a really strong second half, second 3 quarters, whatever.
Yeah, and you know what I'll say? Now this game wasn't great for those two. 4 for 80 is fine, and the big throw though that won the sideline, won the bat. It was awesome, right? And it was a confidence throw. He was getting blasted, and Brian Thomas, the announcer made a comment during the game that he pulled him over to the side on one of the incomplete passes where he didn't go his way. He's like, I'm beating this guy, and like. that's a thing. And I know that's like kind of like, coach speak, player speak, whatever. But here's the big thing I take away from this game. This was a Trevor Lawrence moment, possibly a coming out party. Not to say the narrative game too much, but Trevor Lawrence, they're now 4-1. Okay. He hasn't played great, but he's played better than he has in the past. But this game was like a balls out moment for Trevor Lawrence, right? Like that last drive, everything about it. So Trevor Lawrence was playing a little hesitant early on. And like, I feel like now he's a little bit more, he played more free tonight. I feel like going forward, not that he ever had to worry about losing his job, but I feel like he's going to play more free now. It's almost like, you got a friend who's a virgin and he goes and he finally gets laid. Like, and now you see him hit on girls and he's like making jokes and he's like being funny opposed to like being awkward. This is what Trevor Lawrence, I think, could be going forward more so than the virgin that couldn't even get laid at a bar. And that's what Trevor Lawrence had played like his first 5 years in the league, right? Just kind of like indecisive and just like not playing like the guy at Clemson, not playing free and easy, not even running, like just like, okay, here's the play call. This is my 2 reads. And then, no, he's just gonna be like, fuck it, dude, I'm playing football. That's what Patrick Mahomes has mastered from day one. And that's what I think is going to help Brian Thomas because you said it, man. Bretton Strange is hurt right now. Either way, he's not elite. We don't know what Travis Hunter is. The other guys are just bums. So like, you got to get Brian Thomas the ball. And that's where his butter is. It's where his bread's going to get buttered.
It has to. The only way this team continues this run is if they start utilizing their playmaker. Not utilizing, they are utilizing it, but actually things start coalescing there. And it's going to happen. I'm very confident that Brian Thomas will return. Not the value you got him at because you're already kind of past that point, but still very good value. I mean, this team doesn't seem to want to put it in the air as much as we were kind of hoping either. They're certainly using ETN a lot, but things will get better. I mean, they're 4-1 right now, and they're 4-1 with Brian Thomas probably catching I think 60% of his passes realistically, which is atrocious. That has to regress. Yeah. Like it has to.
Damn straight. All right. That's our ADP versus production. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I'm going to hit you with an intro. An hour into the show, we're going to do the intro and get to questions, and then we'll talk to you there. An intro an hour into the show. You know what? That's what we do around here because that's what I do.
A mimbo is a man bimbo? Is that what a mimbo is?
Yeah, it's from Seinfeld, right? He's a mimbo.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a male bimbo. It's a male bimbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Quality.
I could have put that picture of Seinfeld up that guy, but I feel like Zoolander's like a fucking mimbo, right? Just a dumbass that like looks good. All right, Meraki says we are pretty behind on here, but there's not as many as usual, so we'll get to them. Again, lay on the comments, boys. We'll get to them. If you want something answered right away, throw a $2, even $2. I don't give a shit. Me and Story will go dive deep into that comment. Meraki says people say Hunter.
We'll go use that $2 and find like the ham special at the local dive bar. I don't care. Right?
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm buying beer. Meraki says people say Hunter is the Ohtani of football, but bro is just mediocre at both positions right now. Yes. Do you see any hope for him? Like, what's your long-term outlook, real quick, Story, on Hunter? Either way, whatever they decide to do with him, what's your long-term outlook?
If they choose to move him into one of the 2 positions, I think he can have a respectable career. He's never going to be a superstar in this league. He's not polished enough. It would take a lot for him to kind of turn that corner. There was plenty of faults in his game at Colorado, and so much of his production just came on volume. So the game's faster. It's more strategic, and I don't know, he's got the chops to hack it as a wide receiver 1 in this league. He can be a solid contributor, right? He's a Z. He'll be, if they move him there, he'll be a Z. Or, like I said, turn him into a nickel corner, and you're going to have a really good nickel corner. But the bottom line is this mortgaging the draft picks that they did to draft Travis Hunter. This is why you can't just assume that coaches do rational things. This was a very dumb decision by the Jaguars. So I'm hopeful that they smarten up and they move into one side or the other, and then you could have a really good IDP guy down the road.
He looks really small too, Story. Like, he looks small.
Yeah.
I know he wasn't like a beast coming out, but he looks like 5'11", dude.
I don't know what happened because he looked again. We're talking about like college kids. Like he looked bigger than a lot of guys on the field. There,
Yeah,
right?
he looks
He also
6'1".
was playing with Shedeur Sanders, who's super tiny.
Mm-hmm. Should we pick up Vidal or the other running back they just signed? Who did they sign? Is it just Hassan Haskins or?
I mean they will. I don't know if they signed him yet, but they'll eventually sign the guy from the practice squad. What the hell's his name? The guy from where the hell? South Dakota State. What the hell's his name? He was on the Packers. Picked him up after the draft.
No, I don't know.
Hang on.
Old school says there's no point in investing in a Chargers running backs. They have a 3-back rotation. I don't know if it's going to be a 3-back rotation, but I feel like it's going to be a 50-50 split. That's what we've been saying. Vidal. Okay. So Vidal is a good pass catcher, though, right? Vidal coming out.
He was a decent pass catcher. We had excitement for him last year, but the coaching staff doesn't really seem to care for him. I'm with old school football. I think this is going to be a three-headed monster, and you're not going to be happy with anything. No, none of these guys are special enough to separate themselves. Haskins probably has the goal line work. So if you want to take a shot at one of them, that would be the guy. Unless it's a PPR and you really feel convinced that Kamani Vidal can finally make that leap, but I have a tough time believing that. Like they went out and drafted Omari and Hampton really early this year for a reason. So
right,
but they
had Najee, so they didn't think they needed a backup plan because they had Najee. Yeah.
So they will elevate Amar Johnson at some point. He was an undrafted free agent out of South Dakota State or somewhere in that area. Packers picked him up. He went through training camp. They cut him. And then the Chargers signed him to the practice squad. And then they cut Nyheim Hines like early September. So they're probably a candidate to sign somebody too. Or, I mean, we were talking about it last night. I don't think it's going to happen, but Kamara might be on the block. There's talk of Breece Hall getting moved. Like any other guys you think that are potential trade candidates?
No, I think they're going to wait and see how it plays out with his ankle, right? Because Hampton's their guy. Loopy Ball says, should I drop Io Manor for Josh Downs? If you need instant production, like bye weeks, injuries, you need a guy to start for 2 weeks, it's Josh Downs. I still think Io Manor I like his rest of the season outlook a little bit. Because here's the thing, is Cam Ward showed me something in this game, and he showed it to you. So you like Cam Ward.
I do.
So some of those throws he made to Ridley, like they won over the middle where he split those two defenders. Cam Ward has a rocket. So, and he is not afraid to throw the ball up for a jump ball. That's Io Manor's game. So I like Io Manor rest of the season, Josh Downs in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
It was good to see something from Cam Ward. The stuff that we saw at Washington State and then Miami. We saw that poise, the intelligence to make the smart decisions, and then the ability to get the ball downfield in clutch situations. It took him a few weeks to get there, but again, he's a rookie. Like we shouldn't expect him to come into this league fully prepared to do, to be a superstar. He's going to be a very good quarterback. He's going to continue to progress. I do like the outlook for Io Manor. I think either one of these guys, though, it's a real coin flip. Like the production, we could see what happened with Io Manor.
Look at this. CK, my dude. Also, the CK is the first Patreon sub I have, and he's dropped me a super chat. Thank you, CK. For all you guys out there that aren't in the Discord, that want a bunch of awesome perks, get to play fantasy leagues with us, free merchandise. I need to get a little bit more flow in here to get the merchandise. So I'm going to get about 100 of these hats. The new hats are way better. There's a bunch of stuff on there. Go on the Patreon, in the description. A lot of good stuff. Get in this community. Guests and followers, always accurate, honest, and very helpful. I turned down adding Kraft and Tet for my Judkins and Hawk. Thoughts?
I'm on the Judkins and Hawkinson side. Like Tet McMillan is still a work in progress. I get that he has very much the appeal of probably the best rookie wide receiver this year outside of Emeka Egbuka. I just want everything related to Judkins that I can find. It's very clear what the Browns want to do and who their guy is. So I'm not too worried about a suspension. Again, said it last night, every day that goes by, there's a greater chance that this gets pushed. We haven't heard a thing. So I want everything related to Judkins that I can get. I'm going out and trying to get him. I'm buying high on a guy like Judkins.
Yeah, the Judkins thing, like especially with all the running back injuries, like you have a borderline RB1, but now with all these guys keep on going down, like he is an RB1. And as much as I love Tet's long-term thing, he's still tied to a fucking pipsqueak in Bryce Young with a broken offense. And I will say They're going to get Coker back. Now, whether that hurts Ted or not, I don't know. But, like, right now, he has literally, like, all the target share, and he's still not producing. He's giving you most weeks at most. And Judkins is giving you 100 yards rushing and goal line work. And Sampson isn't involved. Jerome Ford sucks. And they're going to go more conservative without Flacco. And as much as we love Kraft, like, Hawkinson at least looks like he's startable. Like, he is in that top 12. Right? He's not great. You're going to get, like, 4 for 50.
No, I mean, I got cute, and I dropped Hawkinson to pick up Brenton Strange this week, thinking like, oh, Hawkinson is dust. But the Wentz has been good for this offense in general, at least the passing game. So Hawkinson he's that low end tight end one. You know, it sucks. Like, God, a guy like Hawkinson who was the shit. You know, that 1 year. He will look like the next.
He's a PPR monster.
He was the next big thing, and then how does a guy go from that to barely
ACL? That's how ACL. Because Hawkinson's like 26, dude. He was a young rookie, so like he's only 26 or 27. It's not like he's Mark Andrews at 29 or some of these other guys. Like he's this should be the prime of his career. It just doesn't look like that. But at least right now, Addison's a knucklehead. So you have that going for you. He gets suspended and shit, like from the NFL and from first quarters. He went out in London. That's what he said. The report was he went out in London and missed a meeting. Like, dude, Addison, you have no more grace for this team. Stop doing that. Just play football, bro. You're only going to be in the league 7 years because it's the NFL. Go party when you're 30, dude.
He was in London for 2 weeks. You telling me he couldn't find a team approved time to go out and enjoy London? Yeah, he was looking for some British shepherd's pie, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hit up Tinder and you can find that on Tuesday.
All right, hey,
I do appreciate you that.
My dog is scratching at the door. I'm not sure what's going on. I think it's because of the storm.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second.
All good. Yeah, it is storming. I do appreciate the comment, though, CK. The guests are elite. They're better than me, but I do what I can. And the group, shout out to the group. You guys are awesome. I like the honest comment because we are very honest, Story.
You guys want to see my dog?
Tell it. Yeah. I've never even seen your dog.
Here she is.
I can't bring my dog up here because he's a Bernese mountain dog and he's 100 fucking pounds.
He's big. This is Ozzy. She's only like 30 pounds, and she's you can see, look at her eyes. She's a little scared of the thunder right now. She's not happy with it.
Oh, so, how old?
7. She's about 7. We got her as a puppy.
Well, good thing she can't understand English because you don't talk about her very often. So start talking about her more to me.
She hates Sundays because I'm always up and down screaming at the TV. So.
Right. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. All right. Thank you again, CK. You are the man.
Yeah, you're the man.
We got. All right, where are we at? Sorry, we're up here a little bit. We're gonna get to them all. Don't worry. And if Story leaves, I will get to them all. Real quick, Bongo says Burrow, Neighbors, Connors. Imagine drafting that. Those are all IR for the rest of the possible. Yeah. First round Neighbors, third round Burrow, fifth round Connor.
Yeah.
Anyone see how Genty sat most of the fourth quarter? That was just blowout, but like that's still rough.
It's rough if that's going to happen because it's not the first or it's not the last blowout you're going to see from the Raiders. But that was like a blowout. There was no reason to keep any of those starters in. Hell, what's his name? Sat yesterday afternoon. Oh God, what the hell's his name?
What team?
Chargers. Justin Herbert. He sat when the game was in hand. So that's going to happen with every team, most likely.
Well, it should happen, but a lot of coaches are dumb, and they play their guys like Austin Eckler and Jaden Daniels that one game in the Commanders. Landon says, should I trade BTJ and CMC for Gibbs and Devontae Adams full PPR? That's a juicer, dude.
Yeah, I'd do that. I would do that.
You're getting ahead of the CMC injury, and I'd rather have Gibbs. Gibbs and CMC is a wash. And I don't know, bro. I would just do it because of the CMC is likely to get hurt and Gibbs isn't. Right? That's the difference maker because BTJ and Devontae Adams are pretty close to me.
Yeah, they're close, but I'm expecting things to change in Jacksonville. It could just be this way the rest of the year, and we've seen what Devontae Adams is on this Rams team. It's a super narrow target tree, and Matthew Stafford loves looking for him in the end zone. So I want the upside of Devontae Adams, and Gibbs and CMC are very much on par with me. I don't think you're giving anything up by giving away CMC.
Yeah, and Devontae Adams is probably catching 10 touchdowns this year. Michael, do I start Scat versus Philly tomorrow or Derrick Henry versus the Rams? It's probably in PPR, it's Scat. That's for sure, because I know it's a tough matchup. They both have tough matchups, but Scat might have 5 catches, right? That's what we've seen from him.
Yeah.
And Derrick Henry is not having more than 2 catches. Sorry.
There is a chance that it's a very small chance, but there's a chance that Tyrone Tracy comes back this week. Scatterbo,
I'm not worried about that.
Scatterbo looks he hasn't done anything to make me think that he has put Tyrone Tracy on the bench yet.
I think he has.
I don't think so, man.
It's not what he's done. It's the Jackson Dart, like the whole team evolution right now. And they're 1-1, which is good for them. And like, why go back? I'm not saying that Tyrone Tracy's not going to play. He'll still play 35% and not Scat won't play 80%. He'll play 60%. But they want the young infusion there. It's exciting. It's like, it's hope, right? And Tyrone Tracy, although still a young player, like the fans would revolt if they took Scat off the field, man. Like, they can't do it.
He's exciting to watch, but 3.9 yards per carry. He's so inefficient.
I know. Let's go under the assumption that Tyrone Tracy's not playing.
Then
let's go into that assumption.
Close in PPR, but yeah, I'd go Scat. Otherwise, I'm going Derrick Henry. And I wouldn't blame anybody who is like, nope, I'm sticking with Derrick Henry. It's still Derrick Henry. He hasn't lost anything. It's just the team doesn't seem to have their head on straight right now.
Are you dropping DeMarcado, Story?
Probably. Unless you got a super deep league, if you got 9 bench spots, 8-9 bench spots, you could probably hold on to him in case Michael Carter gets hurt in the next week. But I don't see a reason to hold on to him when it was a three-way timeshare and he was like the 3rd dude on the field. So what are you realistically getting from him?
He might get dropped by his own team. Let's be honest. You know what's crazy is that ESPN, I think I mentioned this to you, DeMarcado for last week was projected 20 points in PPR. Like, the projections are so bad.
How are they doing over there?
How are you? Even if he was the lead back there and there was no one else, and he was going to get every touch, 20 points is like CMC territory, dude. Like, okay, yeah. I guess they were against Titans, but keep Kelsey or get Waller. I still want Kelsey over Waller.
Yeah,
right?
I still want Kelsey over Waller. I'm not sure how sustainable listen. If you got Waller off the wire, I think you're in good position if you needed help. He only played 60-some% of the snaps this past weekend. We saw what Jonnu Smith did last year, so I think he should be really happy. But Kelsey is still Mahomes' guy, and Worthy is clearly banged up. It's still going to be a couple weeks till Rashee Rice comes back. I'm not too worried about Rashee Rice taking too much work away from Kelsey. So yeah, it's still Kelsey for me.
Meraki has a couple ones we'll go through quickly. I think people like this ADP versus production. What do you think about that segment? I think it's pretty good. I made that up.
Pretty good. It gives people a sense of where our heads are at related to the rest of the season. I mean,
I'm pretty smart.
If they want to hear that kind of stuff.
Meraki has 2 for us here that I didn't mention. Thank you for adding. You guys can always add them in too when doing the segment. Ingram, ADP versus production. We don't have the numbers in front of us, but it's not good. He's like probably tight end 25. He did catch a touchdown last week, but he was drafted as like tight end 7, 8.
Yeah, it's production for me.
Really? You think he's like not even startable?
No, I don't think so. Let me just
it's closer to ADP, bro. It's closer to ADP because even if you say he's tight end 14 the rest of the way, that's closer to ADP than it is production.
Okay.
I'll move on to the next one, and then you.
If you didn't catch a touchdown, 4 for 33, you're very disappointed. How many touchdowns do you think he's going to score this year? 4?
Not many. I think he might. I think he may be better in PPR though, but that's not. That remains to be seen. Kenneth Walker, the tiny dancer. Hold on a second. The tiny dancer. ADP versus production. Kenneth Walker again. Like he's kind of underperformed, right? Or he's
definitely underperformed. This was a case of wish casting by the fantasy community. The team has showed us in the preseason what they thought of Charbonnet. They really like him. They like him inside the 10 zone. They like him certainly on the goal line, and he's also catching passes. So it pains me to say it because I like Kenneth Walker as a talent. They've got such a really good outside zone run scheme there in Seattle that and Walker fits perfectly with that. And we talked about this over the summer. We talked about it in our podcast, why he's a good fit. But for whatever reason, they are enamored with Sharp. And so Charbonnet is going to continue to be there. Unfortunately, it's closer to production.
That's a shame, man. That's a shame. I agree. The only upside is if Charbonnet gets hurt, he's to the moon. CK says, again, thank you, CK, for the awesome generosity. Sup, boys. He was the one, I think, that had Kelsey against him in the standard league, 12.8 points. He got it. He lost.
Got the touch.
You know how great CK is? He loses his matchup. He says he goes 0-3 this week, still donates to this channel. You know, I wouldn't even be tuning in because I'd be so salty, but CK is a real G. We love you, CK. One of my favorites on the channel here. I can guarantee Warren will throw a TD this year and get the Triple Crown. What do you put the odds on that story? Like a 2-1 that or 1-1, like even odds?
No, throws for a touchdown?
Yeah, that's what he does.
No, yes, but it's the NFL, dude. Like,
did you see he had a passing attempt though? He had a passing attempt. He throws lefty. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know. Yes, I did because I watched.
That's awesome. That's a trick because
every snap of him at Penn State last year.
But a lot of coaches are dumb that might not realize that. Right?
But I would put it at 10-1. Like I would put it at 10-1.
I'll bet that. Okay, I was saying 2-1 maybe, but hey, Lead said story. How about them Gators? That was
man.
Right?
Like
who did they beat? What was it? Who did they
Texas.
beat? Florida State.
They beat Arch Manning.
Oh, Arch Manning sucks, right?
He's looking very shaky this year, so there's a lot of concern.
He's got to go back to school, right?
Well, he's not even close to the odds-on Heisman favorite anymore, or the consensus number 1 pick.
Texas might get benched.
Texas was 9, and they lost to unranked Florida. And what about Elite? What about your guy Dallas? Oh my God! True freshman comes out, puts up a monster game at wide receiver. The kid is a stud. He's on my college fantasy dynasty team. I'm so glad I held on to him, didn't trade him away this year. He's going to be a world record in the SEC for the next 3 years.
All right, Smitty has an in-depth question here. He's 1-4, 2 quarterback super flex. He's got Daniels, Purdy, Mac Jones, and Gabriel and Rattler. Here's his running backs. You can read them on the screen. He's asking, he needs a running back. Would you trade Rattler for Scatterbo? Yes. Yeah. He's like their 5th quarterback. And Rattler's not even going to keep the job for more than 2 more weeks, right? They're going to want to look at Tyler Shuck at some point. I know he just won a game.
Yeah, at some point they will move on to Shuck. We don't know when that is, especially because they got the win. No, it was against the Giants, but yeah, they will move on at some point. So you might as well get a guy that's probably the lead back there.
Yeah. Elite, should I trade Diggs and Hampton? Mind you, Hampton on the IR for Jamar. That's tough because if there was no IR, obviously no. But I would do it, man. Do it. You're getting Jamar Chase. Like,
yeah,
Diggs looks great, but I'm not buying into 9 catches every week, bro.
You're still getting arguably the best wide receiver in football on a team that is going to have to throw the ball a lot. Yeah, I'd do it. I would do it.
Io Manor or Ridley rest of the season?
I think it swung back to Ridley this past week, did it not?
It should have always been Ridley. I think we got ahead of our skis in that one.
Yeah, I think so too. I kind of got.
I'm still not taking. I'm still like taking a little bit of an L on our Ridley call because unfortunately, like no one started Ridley this week. Partially because they played at 3:00. We didn't even know he was going to play. I started him in 1 league because I had a guy in there that was a 3:00 game, but I benched him in 4 leagues, and of course that happens, right? You get fucking 8 points every other week, 6 points, and then you bench him and he scores fucking 18.
Dude, that's fantasy football. I had Javonte Williams on the bench in week 1.
Well, but we didn't know that. We didn't know how that snapshot was going to go out. Tron Force 4-1. Any suggestions to improve? It's PPR. Jaden Daniels, CMC, Barkley, DK, Olave, Goddard, Warren, Smith, McLaurin, Hunter, Kupp, Gainwell, White. So Barkley and CMC, that's amazing. Keep those. Jaden Daniels. Try to improve your tight end. So trade Goddard, who his stock's pretty high right now. Try to trade like Goddard and Kupp to a needy team that needs depth is my thought, maybe. Or he has Rashad White on the bench too. Maybe trade Rashad White and Dallas Goedert and try to get yourself a Tyler Warren.
That's a good idea because Bucky will be back. So if you can capitalize on this big Rashad White game and trade yourself White and Goddard and get like what'd you say, Tucker Kraft? That's probably a good way to do it.
Kraft or Warren or something.
You also
like that.
might want to look at upgrading your wide receivers because Olave is still getting the looks, but it's a team that doesn't score a lot and he's not doing a whole lot with them. So you might want to package a couple guys and see if you can get a better wide receiver out there. Like, trying to think who would be a reasonable ask.
Dude, or you could trade for Kittle. So what you want to do is you want to find a team that is neat, has a losing record, 1-4 team, 2-3, 0-5, whatever, that has a better tight end than Goddard, like Kittle, Warren, Kraft, any of those guys. Even Trey McBride at this point, even Brock Bowers, if you want to feel ballsy. You trade White and Goddard, and he needs White for the next couple of weeks, which is valuable to him, not as valuable to you because you could afford a loss or two, and you get yourself an elite tight end with Daniels, elite quarterback, good running backs. Your wide receivers can be weak if you have Jaden Daniels, elite tight end, and CMC and Barkley. Does it matter?
Probably not. I wouldn't think so.
Logan says, I have Hampton. Sucks about the injury. Should I be looking to add Michael Carter or TreVeyon Henderson? Thankfully, I have Judkins and Breece Hall. If you have Judkins and Breece Hall, the answer is TreVeyon Henderson because Gibson's out for the year. So he's going to get a 40% snap share, we think. But there's a chance he's going to overtake one more fumble, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong. 2 more fumbles? Okay, 2 more fumbles from Stevenson. He's gone in the next 4 weeks, which is asking a lot, but he's on pace for that. Because you have Judkins and Breece Hall, so you're looking long-term. Michael Carter's a short-term ad. Give me the long-term guy in TreVeyon Henderson. Even if it wasn't a long-term thing, I think I want TreVeyon over Michael Carter.
Yeah,
maybe
I agree. But TreVeyon Henderson being out there is interesting. I wonder why that he's not available in like any of the leagues that I'm in. So I'm wondering if somebody got frustrated and dropped him. And you might be in a league where if you could scoop up Carter and sell him, that it's tough.
Yeah.
I feel like
trading
is more difficult in leagues now than it was even 5 years ago because of
there's too much information out there.
Yeah, the abundance of information is damaging because knowledge is power, information is power, and there's just so much. Somebody can go online and pull up a trade calculator and be like, "Oh, this says 11.7 versus 10.8. I'm getting the raw end of the deal." It's stupid, right? Best ball is probably the future for this hobby.
You're so much more articulate than me, Story. Like saying. I say something very simple, and you go into like, and it's still like pretty time. It's nice for the time too. It's not like you take a minute to say something. I'm just like, she's hot. You're like, she's rather attractive with a very, very nice buttocks.
Well, I approach this hobby
nice ass.
With a game theory mindset, and it informs a ton of my decisions. And you do the same thing. You're just not aware of why you're doing it. But information is the most valuable currency you can have in virtually any environment. It includes fantasy football. That's why we always say there's no reason to draft a tight end. No reason to draft a kicker. There's a reason that you pick up a guy midweek, see if he becomes the guy on Thursday, and then you pick up your kicker later. There's a reason that I don't pick up kickers until maybe even Sunday night and play somebody then because I want to know, like, if somebody gets hurt in the 3:00 game and I've got the backup there, if he doesn't get hurt, fine, I'll drop him. Maybe I'll pick him up again later in the week. It's the same thing with making trades, and that's kind of the problem now because somebody can go to CBS and see what, what the hell's his name? Rich Eisen is talking about, and they're like, oh, well, it's why I think there's no such thing as like a buy low, a true buy low anymore. It's very difficult because
or a sleeper.
Yeah, or
doesn't exist. Garden Gnome a drop. I love how we just call him Garden Gnome now on the channel. That's Kyler Murray. I'm trying to get out Goff off waivers. They both have a week 8 bye. You want Goff over Garden Gnome, right?
Yeah. Bear in mind, Goff's not going to give you anything on the ground.
No, but 2 touchdowns a game at least.
Yeah, he's very much. I hesitate. He's not a game manager, but there's going to be weeks where he doesn't throw touchdowns because everything's going to funnel through Gibbs and Montgomery.
This is a good one from John. Hey fellas, trade Mahomes to receive Lamar. I'm 3-2, and then would have Goff as my backup. Oh, man, I think Mahomes is going to fucking bust out the rest of the year in fantasy. Like he is a top 4 player right now, and he doesn't even have his weapons. He's running like a madman. He's actually has more rushing yards than Lamar. Like per game, right? Like he's averaging like 50 yards rushing a game.
Is that true? He's got more rushing yards than Lamar. I mean, you got to take out this week.
I think so. I think he does.
27 points. I don't know. Like you got 27. You got 25 from Justin Fields this week. Like there's going to be weeks where they just
maybe do it because it's Lamar Jackson, bro.
Lamar Jackson, like he's one of 2 difference makers in the position. I would probably
And he has Goff as a backup. So, yeah, I would do it too.
It's a good week to trade.
You can make the playoffs. Glad I turned it down with all the RB injuries. Figured I'd hold. He was talking about the Mean Muffin was a Discord was very helpful. Mean Muffin's a shit. CK, got you, bro. Okay. He's talking about the Genty sitting in the 4th quarter. That was terrible, but they had to do it. Here we go. Mark says, how valuable is Robinson Jr. if CMC misses time? He's the most valuable handcuff there is, right? Almost, besides Algier.
Well, let's think back to last year with Jordan Mason. Let's think back to, was it 3 years ago with, what's his name that stepped in for CMC? Like, Shanahan has one of the most.
Isaac Guerrero.
Thank you, Guerrero. No, it wasn't Guerrero. Guerrero had like one good game. That was last year. Oh my God, I was so hopeful for Guerrero last year. Anyway, he's fallen off. So Shanahan has one of the most, like, I don't know how to call it, like it's such an elegant scheme that any running back can succeed as long as they have half of a brain. Brian Robinson has proven to be a very capable back. You're looking at like what Jordan Mason did last year, probably Jordan Mason plus a little bit. I think he's a better runner than Jordan Mason.
Yeah.
And Jordan Mason didn't catch passes, and he was very valuable in that Kyle Shanahan scheme. So, yeah, he's the best. I would argue it's Algier and then Brian Robinson as the best backups.
Yeah. And Brian Robinson maybe more so just based on the likelihood that CMC gets hurt, which is higher than Bijan doesn't get hurt. He's never been hurt in any stage of his career. Now, it could happen to anyone, right? You get rolled up on, you get an ankle, but
unless he slips on some mustard when he's making himself some sandwich, like his Bijan mustard. At night, he's not getting hurt this year.
Ryan, do not bench Barkley. Don't do it. He's gonna have a good game. Salted Fishing says, should I trade Puka for Jamison Williams? This is obviously a joke. Now we could talk about trading Jamison Williams, and you can't even do that anyway because you're not gonna get shit for him. So Ryan lost by 8 points in one league with Cook only giving me 4 points. Cam, third leg little, won my match in the other league. Yeah, Cam had a 50-yarder. Logan, DeMarcado was projected 20. I can probably, and then they moved it down before game time to like 12. But there was like a 3-day stretch where DeMarcado was projected 20. Which the thing is, ESPN's a lot of amateurs playing, free leagues and bums, like bad fantasy players. So I guarantee everyone just like, oh my God, I got to go with the highest projected player, which I never do. Story, you agree, right?
I'd never look at projections. Like even like mid-game, I never like midday. I don't, because what do those mean? If the projections were even halfway accurate, all we would do is start everybody with the highest projections and log out. That's not why we like this game. Yeah, projections are weird. People like will text me all Sunday long and be like, look at my projection. Now I'm projected. Oh, that big play just cost me 10 points of projection, or that big play. Now I'm favored. Like, okay, great. Like that's
stupid.
Yeah.
Sven won 3 leagues this week, lost 1 where I had Schrader, Minnesota's defense, and Genty lost by 3 points. Yeah, well, Schrader's out for the year. Asex Schrader, as I call him. He's out for the year. That's a big loss. He was looking like an every week fantasy starter for them and just for fantasy because he was like looking like one of those guys. Dome kicker on a conservative play calling offense that has a good defense and Danny Dimes. So that sucks.
Yeah, it's a good and it's a good offense. And his name is Indiana Jones now. Thank you very much.
I call him Danny Dollar, but we can go both of those. Meraki says, where does one play college fantasy football?
Fantrax, my man. Meraki, hit me up in the Discord, and I'll talk to you all about it. I got into it.
I don't think Meraki's in the Discord.
Okay, drop the link in the Discord for him, and Meraki, find me in there, and I'll talk to you all about it. I love it. I love it more than the NFL. I hate to like out myself, but it's so much fun. I absolutely love college football, and there's fantasy football in college is so under the radar. You can actually get edges. Like I regularly, because I pay attention, I regularly am the top point scorer, the best record in the playoffs, in the championship. I've back-to-back championships the last 2 years. Like I love it. Ooh. So there's a site called Fantrax where you can find leagues. That's where we play. Yahoo had it 1 year for like
Fantrax is great.
Yeah, but Fantrax is awesome, and that's why I do all my college leagues.
Meraki, you got to join the Patreon to get in the Discord. The Discord now, it is free for the OGs that join this. There's like 28 of us in here. I'm keeping that all free for the guys that were from the beginning of these live streams because I'm not going to take that away from the guys that are fucking awesome. So if you want to get in it, the smallest denomination gets you in the Discord. A lot of good shit there, but it's a great community. A lot of good questions being answered. A lot of hilarious gifts too. Is Goff better starter going forward than Herbert's?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes.
Do I think so?
Yes. Yes.
I can get on board with that. The offense is broken.
Offensive line. You take everything else away, and the offensive line is a big factor. And we saw 3 weeks of declining production from Herbert, strictly from injuries, and now no Amari and Hampton. Like, how are they moving the ball?
They're not. I mean, Herbert through the ground is a thing, right? His rushing, because he had like 60 yards rushing, but that's not enough to like start over Goff. Is Judkins going to eat this week versus the Steelers run D? Steelers run D is not good, man.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun game for Judkins. Also, I don't know. Are they the morning game? There's another game this coming week. I think it might be.
It's not them though. Yeah, it's Jets and Denver. Mark says, so Kyler, Darnold, or Goff for rest of the season. I would rank it Goff, Kyler, Darnold.
Yeah. God, Darnold looks good. Like, Darnold looks really good. But
yeah, but their defense is so good that they're not going to have to throw that much. You know what I mean? Like, not every game they're going to be 38-35. It's going to be like 17-13 a lot of times.
That's true.
Meraki, at what point do I give up on AJ Brown? I mean, giving up on him isn't benching him. Not yet, especially not against the Giants defense. You're starting him this week, baby.
Thursday night football. Giants usually get up for that game. It should be. I think it's going to be. It's a sneaky. The over/under is only 41. I think it's a sneaky shootout. I'm looking forward to that game.
Yeah, Jackson Dart's perfect for overs because he throws touchdowns and rushes touchdowns and he throws pick sixes and shit. G. Allen, any waiver wire picks to replace a Marion Hampton? Wire is slim pickings. I mean, if you need someone that's Hassan Haskins is not a 1-to-1 replacement, but on that same team. I don't know if I'd use I'd only use a waiver wire claim on him if you're like 1-4 or 2-3 maybe. If you have a winning record, just let it ride, bro.
Did anybody else pop that you can think of that would be a waiver wire plug and play in running back this week? Like,
no, it's bad, man.
Rashad White was already rostered everywhere, and there's a possibility that Michael Carter might have flown under the radar, and he's a solid spot start for the next 3 weeks while Trey Benson's on the IR. Trying to think of it. Kendrick Miller is a solid spot start, but you better cross your fingers there.
Yeah. Would you guys trade Bowers and Adunze for James Cook and Devin A-Chain?
In a heartbeat.
Trading Bowers?
In a heartbeat.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, because I mean Bowers, it's cryptic with Bowers right now, bro. We don't know. I mean, would it be surprising you if he goes in the IR tomorrow?
No, I don't think that's. I wouldn't say that's the likely outcome, but it wouldn't surprise me for him to go on the IR. It seems like things kind of escalate quickly this year. Now, it's not to say that will happen with Bowers, but dude, give me A-Chan, who's absolutely blowing up and is 100% necessary to the team with Ollie Gordon not even really a factor. And give me James Cook. He had a bad game. You're buying low on him.
Yeah. No worries on your end, Meraki. You're in college, dude. This is a free show, bro. Any donations are welcome to keep it going. But, I'd rather have you watching, subscribing, and getting the knowledge. It's, there's gonna be a lot of people that will, and it's fine. So just appreciate you tuning in. Michael says, start Olave, Marv, or QJ full PPR story. I'm going to take a quick tinkle, and I'm going to grab a beer. And so to give you a second to answer this question, I'm going to play a quick clip and then take a pee.
But I will expect something in return.
What?
Well, for starters, I want a calzone of my own.
All right.
And a slice of pepperoni pizza. And a large soda. And 3 times a week, I shall require a cannoli.
It's steep, don't you think?
Ooh, this one's tough. Marvin Harrison Jr. and Olave are neck and neck for me. I think I'm gonna go. I think you can drop QJ down a tier, so he's now a wide receiver, low end wide receiver 2. Olave and Marv are also kind of on the lower end, but they're in that like 20 range, and QJ's probably in the 24. So I would go with Olave, Marv, QJ in that order. Olave, let's see who they got. I haven't even looked. It's a little early for this, but yeah, the Patriots defense is tough, but the Cardinals are also on the road, coming off a wicked loss. They got the Colts. That seems like another letdown spot for them. Colts are 7-point favorites. New England's only a 3.5-point favorite. So I'm going to go with Olave over Marv in that one. Let me know if you agree.
I would agree with that one. I'm back. He's a dude, man. He's I think he's like a top 15 receiver right now for the year.
Yeah, I said I have like Marv and Olave in that like 20 range, with Olave just getting the edge, and QJ gets dropped down a tier to the low end wide receiver 2.
Wow, how the QJ stuff has changed in the last 6 days, Story. And I had so many arguments that you weren't on the show, and I was like, because he's wide receiver 4 in the year. And I was just like, regardless of what happened with Hampton getting hurt in the offensive line, now going on your fourth and fifth tackle now. It wasn't ever going to be sustainable. Now you have it wasn't going to be sustainable, and now the offense changes. It's bad. And so, like, all these people arguing with me saying that, like, I want him over Jamar Chase, like, get the fuck out of town. Like, I was still right. I feel like I was right on that one without the tackles getting hurt. Because, like, dude, I just 4-week sample size is something, but it's not the end all be all, bro. Like, give me a 3-year sample size from Jamar Chase.
Well, certainly on that, but let's not write off QJ yet. Like,
not write him off, but
he could have made the leap, right? And everybody on the Chargers had a bad game last week. Everybody on the Chargers had a bad game last week. So let's see what it looks like going forward. Is it going to be a struggle? Sometimes, sure, but let's not write off QJ either. I'm
not writing him off. I just think he's more of a wide receiver 3. That's what I was saying. Which is still fine. He's startable. I mean, it's just not like top 5 receiver stuff, bro. I just hurt my soul to hear that, because that's not how I operate in fantasy. And like, sometimes it bites me in the butt where I just don't believe in a guy and I stop and I never believe in him, and it bites me in the ass because they end up doing it all year.
No, I won't fault anybody for starting Quentin Johnson this week. They got the Dolphins defense. So that's a solid matchup.
I was never saying bench him. I was saying if you had him, trade the motherfucker right now. Even for even for wide receiver 2 territory. Like, trade him. You got your production. That's how you win fantasy. You get the top 4 production of a guy you barely drafted, and then you get a guy that will, like Brian Thomas Jr., who will become a wide receiver 2 for the rest of the year. That's good business. It's like it's buy low, sell high. I mean, that's what they teach you in business school.
Or sometimes you want to get out from a declining asset regardless, because sunk costs. That's another thing they teach you in business school, right?
You love that term.
That's a life lesson right now. Settle down for story time, everyone. So are you familiar with the concept of sunk costs?
Yes. You tell me about it all the time.
Yes. So sunk costs are, for those who don't know, once you've invested in something, you don't want to mentally anchor yourself to that price of that investment any longer. So if I buy Disney stock at $180 a share, and then it goes down to $150 a share, my anchor point should be the $150, because that's what the market tells me it's worth anymore. Even though I spent $180 on it, it's not worth that. It's the same thing. Jamar Chase was drafted as the number 1 overall pick in fantasy football. And this is an extreme example. He's clearly not the number 1 overall pick anymore. But it's an anchoring, your anchoring bias is where I drafted Jamar Chase, so I've got this asset. It's worth this much. No, it's now worth this much. So that investment, that's gone. You cannot get that back. So you have to mentally move on. You got to get rid of those cognitive biases that tell you that he's worth this much. And you need to come at trades and pickups and starts with that information in mind.
Agreed. All right. Hey, we're still 6 super chats short of me chugging a beer. I got an extra one just for you guys. I will do it, and I do it with a lot of pride and a lot of happiness. Powell says, Chase Brown or Montgomery Story. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I'd do it. I would jump on that. PPR, it's certainly an argument, but I would still go Montgomery. You're getting a world's better offense with a guy who has produced in that offense for many years. Very little has changed in that offense. And it's not like Jameson Williams is stepping up to take away production from David Montgomery. So I would do it. I get out from underneath Chase Brown if you can.
On a PPR or Montgomery. Anything else, I want Montgomery. Just because he did have 7 catches last week, and that's free money. Right? Wasn't it 7 catches for Chase Brown?
I believe so. Yeah, that's free money, but
it was only for like 20 yards, but
God, that's wild. He had 6.
It is wild.
No, he had 7 receptions for 21 yards. Yeah, that is wild.
Yeah. Smitty says, would you trade Breece Hall or Josh Jacobs? I would not trade Josh Jacobs unless you're getting like Bijan. I would trade like Josh Jacobs and like a wide receiver 3 for Bijan, but I would trade Breece Hall because I feel like his stock is pretty fair right now. And there's questions with the trade and that offense.
Yeah. The garbage time was our friend. yesterday, and it's not always going to be like that. There's going to be plenty of games where the Jets are just getting absolutely curb stomped, and they're not going to be able to mount a comeback, and you're not going to be able to get points. So you're going to have regular, consistent production from Josh Jacobs. Nobody's threatening his job whatsoever.
No.
And nobody's really threatening Breece Hall's job, especially now that Braylon Allen is out for 2 months. But there's going to be plenty of games where the Jets, like I've got Justin Fields everywhere, and I'm just mentally preparing myself. Like there's going to be plenty of games where they just lay an egg.
Just so you know, Braylon Allen's out for the year, bro. They didn't say it, but he's out 8 to 12 weeks. Like he's 21 years old. Why the fuck would they bring him back? Their season's over.
True.
Just sit down, young kid. Just sit down. Like what would you bet? Like what would you bet? What were the odds that he plays another game this year? I think it's like
I think he'll come
4
back.
to 1 he doesn't.
Really? I think he'll come back. Yeah, because you're talking.
It is the Jets.
You're talking like so that'll be week 13. There's still 5 weeks of the regular season left. Like you want to give your guy reps, especially if Breece Hall there's a strong chance he's not on the team next year.
Yeah.
So they don't want to
or traded.
Yeah. So but I did. So this is a good reminder. Go find Isaiah Davis if you can. If he didn't get picked up,
yeah, I have him.
Yeah, if he didn't get picked up, I'm telling the folks in the chat. I don't think I need to tell you.
I have him.
But if Isaiah Davis, you don't probably have to use a waiver claim on him. He probably, if he didn't get picked up, he's going to slip through again.
I love this name here. I think it's Zaza Pachulis. I think it might be Zaza Pachulia. Remember him, the NBA player, the big-headed freak. Remember how big that dude's head was?
It's like a pumpkin.
Yeah. He traded Jamar Chase for Jacobs and Ladd after week 1. That's been a roller coaster with Ladd, but I mean now, especially that was before the Burrow injury. I like that trade because I say Jamar and Ladd or Jacobs and Jamar are pretty even, and you got a free Ladd.
Yeah. Jacobs and Jamar, I think, are really close.
I want to hear your take on this one story. Too Evil says Titans won, but Ward was stanky. He was the first 3 quarters, but those last 2 drives were fucking. That's why I can't.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Cam Ward turned the corner. I'm saying that he showed some promise, some flashes that made me think that he can be the quarterback that we saw in Miami last year. He was very stinky this game. He was very stinky for a good chunk of it. But when the chips were down and when their backs were against the wall on the road in a difficult environment, he came through and he made some throws that very few starting quarterbacks in the league can make. He's got that arm talent. I'm really hopeful for it. I'm not saying that he was a good play in fantasy or in real life to start, but like it was all about showing me what the next level looks like for him.
Let me ask you this. Do you think there's a world now the weapons aren't great, but Ridley's still a pro. Io Manor looked pretty good for the first couple of weeks. Conquo's athletic tight end. Gunnar Helm's doing some things. Do you think there's a world where Cam Ward is a streamer by week 12 for the rest of the season?
Yes, this team has got to make some major leaps forward, and maybe they make some midseason moves that will kind of elevate them because they're like grading out subpar in every metric on both sides of the ball. So I'd put it at like a 20% chance that you could be streaming him. Now, by Apocalypse, I don't know if he's one of those ones that are on the 6-week buys. I don't know when their bye week is. Do you happen to know offhand?
I think it's 8. Actually, I think the Titans have 8.
No, it's not 8. It's this is good radio.
11?
Games.
Very good radio.
Yeah. By week 10. Week 10.
Oh, 10. Yeah, I should know that.
So,
damn it. I knew that when I was in best ball drafts.
Yeah. So in those 2 weeks where you've got 6 teams on bye, maybe he elevates into starter territory.
And I'll say this. I think I'm going to start really looking into Cam Ward's rushing numbers week to week because they're setting it at like 7.5, which is really, and he's just not running because, he like moves around to throw. But I think he's starting to get to that, like when young quarterbacks start getting a little more confident, they end up running more. And I think this is Cam Ward time to start moving around and running because he doesn't have a lot of weapons. So that's what I'm going to look at here. Michael he said, I got Olave. I had to trade away Dobbins, though. Dobbins is probably more valuable, but if he was your RB4, which it could be very possible he's your RB4, I wish you had waited, though, because with the current running back state, Dobbins is worth a lot.
Yeah, man. Running backs
so many teams are decimated.
Like flies. So I want all the running backs I can have right now. I feel like I can get wide receiver production kind of cobbled together, but Dude, all these running backs going down is very concerning. If you got JCM, I think you're happy. Obviously, if you got Michael Carter, you're happy for a couple of weeks. But that is an expiring asset. Like Trey Benson is still the lead guy there. Like when he's healthy.
Mark says Joe Alt is coming back this season, right? Yeah, it's like a 4 to 5 week injury for Joe Alt. Slater is not. Slater's out for the year. And their third spring tackle, the guy that was filling in, it seems like a major injury. So now they're down to their fourth and fifth stringers. Not great.
And it rarely works out when you move like a right guard over to left tackle. Like that is like, how desperate do you have to be to move a guy four spots over in the line or 3 spots over in the line?
Right. Meraki's talking about QJ. This is the first game he didn't get targets. I would argue he's still a high-end wide receiver too, which is top 15 at the very least. Absolutely not, bro. Like he loved Quentin Johnson coming out of college. I loved him last year. He's a good player. He's a unique player that has a really good skill set for what he is, an X receiver. But you have Keenan Allen there. Ladd McConkey is still the one there. I'm sorry, he's still the one. Or it's Keenan Allen. It's not Quentin Johnson. And their offense is going to be worse. So like those 3 factors, not good.
Well, it's not Keenan Allen. And I think I'm higher on QJ right now than you are, but I still wouldn't put him as a high-end wide receiver too. You got to take into consideration the context and the offense around him. This offense is crumbling. And so the lack of time to throw, routes don't develop downfield as much. There's very little in terms of what do you call it? God damn it. What's that scheme that Harbaugh ran at Michigan? It doesn't matter. Anyway, you got to adjust expectations with the Chargers offense in general. That means everybody gets knocked down a peg.
Yeah, 100%. Ryan says, I have Carter and Rico. Should I package and try to trade for a running back 1? You won't get one for those guys. I mean, you should if you can try. I mean, if you have a team that has no running backs that you could trade with, maybe, but then you're getting an injured RB1, like, because they're not going to trade their best running back for 2 spot starters. Rico is a playable guy, probably rest of the season, but
I think you need to find a team that is like 1-4 and who's desperate for a win. Like this is the time of the year where if you don't start stacking up wins, your chance to make the playoffs goes down. So find those teams. I'm trying to think like who you could realistically get that. Oh man, how long?
This is a good one. This is a good one from Mark. Rob believes in QJ the way Vrabel believes in Travion Henderson. You know what it is? Be honest, I was so high on QJ last year, and everyone was hating on it. I invited him over for dinner, and I took my dog on a walk. I walked in, he's fucking my wife. Oh, so that's the whole QJ hate, and he's hogged out, bro. So my wife's not the same. That shit's gaping, and like I can never get it back. It's like she had a baby. I don't like that.
It's like throwing a hot dog down a hallway.
Ooh, this conversation right here. This is up my alley. So Marvinator says, do we lay money on the Ravens now to win Super Bowl at plus 1,400? Do we wait and see if we lose again to the Rams? I've been saying this the last week now. They're not going to beat the Rams because the Rams are coming off a devastating loss to the Niners. They need this game more than the Ravens do because the NFC is tight and their division is super tight. So it's going to go to – they're going to lose, and it's going to go to 21-1, right? Plus 2,100? Maybe higher?
I never thought that it would go to the plus 24, plus 2,500 you were talking about the other night. But honestly, Marvinator, your chance, if you wanted to buy in at a good number, you should have done it before the Chiefs lost tonight. Now you should go ahead and wait. The Rams are 7.5-point favorites on the road. So like Rob said, strong chance that they lose. And you know, when you start 1-5, it's very difficult to make the playoffs. But they get healthy and they could certainly make a run. Chiefs look beatable, right? Who really scares you in the AFC? Bengals are out of it.
See, I'm on the opposite end of it, man. This game was actually encouraging for the Chiefs for me. The loss wasn't, but like what I witnessed with the passing attack and the O-line, the Jags have a good defense. That's apparent. And the speed that they have in the field and Tyquan Thornton, bro. Tyquan Thornton's a dude now. So now you have Hollywood Brown, Tyquan Thornton, Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, and your fifth receiver's Juju. Dude, that's some weapons like Mahomes has not had in like 3 years. So I'm very encouraged by what I see. I know they lost the game. The Chiefs will be just fine. I know like the record's different, but like that doesn't affect the Ravens playoff possibilities outside of maybe the wild card. But like we all know the Chiefs are going to win 10 games. That's not an issue. Like for me, if it was the other teams that matter are the Chargers and I'd say the Broncos. And then I guess the Jaguars going 4-1 does hurt because now the Jaguars are in that playoff discussion, right? They're going to be a wild card.
They'll make the playoffs. I'm fairly convinced. I guess the Colts would be the other one. They're the surprise sleeper team in the AFC, and they look very strong on both sides of the ball. Their defense is playing very well. So yeah, but the Chiefs losing that obviously dropped the Ravens odds down a little bit because that everybody kind of I guess the Bills there's your team to beat.
Yeah, but they look human. Nick says picking up CJ Stroud and streaming him this week won me my game. That's the first time that's been said in 2 years.
Yeah, wild.
Because I that was the first time he's been a quarterback one, like or at least like a top 10 quarterback in like 2 fucking years. It's been, or maybe like he had it one other time. It's been rough for CJ Stroud. And I will say, CJ Stroud's running a bit this year, which is nice. Finally, these guys are realizing like, hey, running the ball gives me first downs and extends drives. I should probably do this. You don't have to rely on anyone else.
It's weird because like CJ Stroud wasn't afraid. Like he didn't do it often, but he was never afraid in college to pull the ball down and get the first down. So the fact that at Houston he's been so trepidatious when it comes to running the ball, it's a little weird. But yeah, if they can kind of open things up now, I guess like they absolutely demolished a team. Does that mean that they're going to be like take that and move on, or we're going to see the same old CJ Stroud that we saw other than the Ravens, which their defense is awful
and injured, awful and injured. This is a good comment here. How do you not get? You've lost all your players. Hampton was the breaking point. I'm screwed. It's not the breaking point. I won. There was 1 year. This is probably my finest hour, and my finest hour was Todd Gurley, his breakout year. Remember that, where he was a 3rd or 4th round pick after he had the most inefficient 1,000-yard season ever under who is that? The Jeff coach Jeff. Yeah, Fisher. Remember that year? Remember that year Gurley had after the injury year, where he had like 270 touches for like 1,100 yards. I took there was one day in particular I took Todd Gurley in 4 straight drafts, and I had him in 8 leagues. I played like 14 back then. It was 8 out of 14. I won 7 championships out of 14 leagues. It's like that's my finest because I quadrupled my money that year. But my finest hour was starting Braxton Berrios in 3 championship games when my teams were all wrecked. And like, we were talking about projections. I was projected to lose each of these matchups by 40 points, which is a lot. It was like projected to lose like 150 to 110. And I was offering like 50-50 splits, or even like regardless of the outcome, I was going to be like, I'll take 40%, you take 60. And no one took the offers. And I won them all because Braxton Berrios had a 2-touchdown game. And he scored like 26 points as like and the rest of my roster was trash. It was all like, Michael Carter types where like they were getting work, but they were nothings. And this is a championship game. You're facing, in this day and age, your Bijan Robinsons and your Jahmyr Gibbs. So like that's now fantasy can be fun to you because now you're just literally, it's all on you, right? It's not like set and forget it lineups. You can earn some fucking wins and stay alive. And then you get your guys back and it's fucking like, it's glory, right? It could be it could be really bad. And then you score 80 points, but like, this is where your knowledge pays off. And McGuffin, this is why this show, we're going to help you out. We're going to get you some deep pickups like Kendrick Bourne or Jake Tunges, guys like that, where we're talking about him. No one talked about Jake Tunges last week, dude.
No, that was such a wild call. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, how do you stay motivated when you've lost all your players? It's difficult. Like, I had a really unlucky season last year, and it's difficult. You just got to take pride in the fact that, listen, you built this team, and you're going to see it through to the end. I don't blame you if you want to give up, but my mentality is, listen, I don't care if I'm not making the playoffs. I'm going to put the best team on the field every single week because that's the kind of pride that I take in the work that I do, whether it's fantasy football or work in general. You want to hear my shining moment in fantasy football?
Yeah, I do.
It's college fantasy football, believe it or not. It's my 2nd year ever playing college fantasy football. I sneaked into the playoffs. Only 4 teams out of 12 make the playoffs. I sneaked in. Barely got through in the semifinal. I'm playing the final. I'm a huge underdog. Guy's been playing fantasy for years. And I needed a wide receiver 3. It's one of those toss-ups. I'm like, what do I do here? I'm like a big underdog. So I picked up Arizona State's wide receiver 3. The guy had done nothing all year because he was starting Arizona State's quarterback. And I'm not saying this is a good strategy. I'm like, at least maybe I can offset some of those points. This guy's name was, the wide receiver's name was Devin Lucien. The dude popped off for like 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. I ended up winning the league. The guy never even made it to the NFL, but I'll never forget his name, Devin Lucien. Look him up. He was my hero for one game at Arizona State.
You should write him a letter. Remember when BB had that awesome strip sack in the Super Bowl of Leon Lett, and he got all those inspirational letters about like how like he showed hard work and determination, even though the play meant nothing, right? But it did stop them from having the biggest Super Bowl loss ever. Like, you should write this guy a letter now, and how many years it is later, and be like, dude, by the way, man, you're my hero. I appreciate you, and it would make his fucking day.
Man.
Meraki has a good one here. This ties into our ADP versus production. He says, I do feel like current ADP isn't something you completely write off. Recent production is clearly more important, but draft ADP kind of shows their potentials as ceiling, not something to ignore. Very, very smart comment there. I appreciate that. I think that's why I did this. That's why I did that segment now, because we've had 5 weeks, which is essentially a little under a third of the season. Not more than a third, like 30% of the season, right? And I feel like it's right in the middle now, where it's like in 2 weeks, we're going to go way farther away from ADP and then go on production. After 3 weeks, I'm going more towards ADP, right? Now, this is like right in the middle, where it's like, I don't know what to believe, and I'm going to kind of bridge the two. But after week 7, we're not even looking at where the guys were drafted anymore.
No,
like 7 weeks is a large sample.
I agree that you cannot completely ignore it, but at the same time, like, you can't. I talked about this previously. You can't anchor yourself to Jamar Chase was the number 1 overall pick. You have to adjust expectation. It's not Jamar Chase that's the problem. It's that offense around him. So, like, if you're trying to sell Jamar Chase for Bijan Robinson, it's just not going to happen. So you need to adjust your expectations. Also, I do want to clarify, Devin Lucien was selected by the 7th round in the 2016 NFL draft, and he bounced around the league for 4 years before he played for several years in the AAF league. So I don't want to besmirch Devin Lucien's good name.
This is 10 years ago. That letter would be awesome. The Smitty says, would you trade Rattler or Rasheed Rice for Josh Jacobs? I'm guessing this is super flex. 100% I do that. 100%. You're getting a RB1.
I would do it too. I mean, you've got to have a better option. You should have a better option if it's super flex. But yeah, get yourself some Josh Jacobs.
We got Leafy on a heater here. He's won $162 off $20 total in the last 2 nights in live player prop bets.
There you go.
I love live betting. I usually don't, just because it's a lot of work and you got to pick your right time. I like maybe at halftime doing it, I guess. I don't like doing it like during the game because there's so many moving parts. But I just like hammering my player props and having them win in the second quarter. Trevor Lawrence won his bet. What was that, first quarter story tonight for me?
I think it was second quarter, but it was very early. It's when I texted you.
And then it was so easy. It was just like after the fact, right? If you hadn't bet it, you'd just be like, why didn't, like, that's so, I know he hasn't hit that number many times this week, but like this year, but there's nothing better than of like, you know what I love? Like check raising tourists and like stacks and stacks and chips. I like winning prop bets in the first fucking quarter. And then especially when you ladder them, because then it's all profit, right, baby?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's nice. You don't have to sweat it out. But also, Devin Lucien does have a Super Bowl ring with the New England Patriots. So I'm gonna track this guy down. I'm gonna hire a provider.
He sounds like, yeah, just like something about Mary. He's handicapped and he's got 9 kids and like he's a whale. Unique, what's going on, Unique? How you doing, bro? Gentlemen, howdy. Do you guys think Lamb comes back week 6 or 7? Yeah, I'd say week 7, maybe 6.
Yeah,
I think 7.
I don't think he's coming back this week. There was no if he was coming back this week, I think he would have seen indications that he was later in the week. They were still questioning it. The fact that he was ruled out pretty early leads me to believe he'll sit one more week. But week 7,
RV says I flipped DJ Moore and Travion Henderson for Waddle. Trade grade. Let's assume this is a 12-team PPR. I would give it a B, just because I still believe in DJ Moore a little bit, and Trey Henderson has some like late season appeal, but right now it's not looking good for either of those guys, and Waddle looks like a wide receiver 2.
Yeah, I mean, Waddle is, I think, a locked and loaded wide receiver 2 based on the circumstances alone. So, and DJ Moore has been fully eclipsed by Rome Odunze. In that offense. So I like it.
This is a good one from Unique. I sent 2 trades for AJ Brown, no bites. Would you guys trade AJ Brown for Pittman? I would rather have AJ Brown than Pittman rest of the season.
Same. I would rather have AJ Brown than Pittman. it's been difficult as an AJ Brown manager, but I think that you've got better days ahead.
Yeah, I'll get back to that in a second. We have Mark giving another donation. Appreciate you, bro. $5 holla. Love the knowledge, gentlemen. Been watching every stream from start to finish the last 4 weeks. That's a lot of streaming because I'm on here like 24 hours a week. 7 shows. Some of them are 3 hours. Mark, the thing is about Mark, what I love about Mark is he's on here when I log on waiting for you, Story, because you're always like 5 minutes late, you fucker. He's on here and he's always like, let's go. He's in the stream before me and then clearly before you, and he watches to the end. Fucking Mark, dude. Mark, where you from? If you're still on here, where are you from? Age, sex, location. Give me some details, brother. And also, what's your name in the Discord? Let me know that, just so I can identify you, because everyone has weird names. But that's a lot of dedication. I appreciate that. Obviously, it's entertainment, because, and the thing is, with me and you, it's one thing. We have our conversations. The 3-hour streams I do solo, that's 3 hours of me, Story. That's a lot, bro.
It's a lot.
Drunk me.
It's a lot like talking into a camera when nobody's like physically. I mean, I know that people are chatting with you, but nobody's like giving you.
Give me some credit, Story. Give me some credit.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Like I don't know how you do
I'm
it.
one of the best. I'm one of the best in the business, Story, is the point. And I'm going to be one of the best in the business. This show is going to be the best in the business. Give it a little bit of time. Y'all on the ground floor of this thing. Anyway, yeah, give us your age, sex, location, Mark, if you're still in here. I wanted to finish up on this comment we were talking about. What was it? Oh, the AJ Brown thing. So this is the idea of how you win trades and win fantasy leagues, right? Like trading. We talk about it. Pittman's wide receiver 13 right now on the year, and he was drafted in the 10th round. AJ Brown is wide receiver. What the fuck is he? Wide receiver 35, and you're drafting him in the 2nd round. Like, they're going to even out, and like maybe Pittman finishes ahead of AJ Brown at the end of the year, but the AJ Brown will outscore Pittman the rest of the year most likely.
Yeah, I think
that's
so.
What you care about, right?
Yeah, I agree with that too. I'm fully convinced that there's better days ahead for AJ Brown and that offense. This at some point, like AJ Brown's going to get fed up and start demanding better. So here's kind of the problem.
On the field.
Here's kind of the problem with that offense in general is the routes that he's running, that AJ Brown are running. It's like go routes and curls, and that's it. If you go back and look at his charting, he's not running a lot of slants. He's not running a lot of outs. He's not running a lot of posts.
Yeah.
And that has changed significantly from last year. I'm not sure why they've made changes, but I have trust in that coaching staff. They're going to go back and look at things and be like, we're not doing this correctly. Like, let's move him around the formation. Let's get him in motion. Let's move him to the slot. We'll start changing some things up.
Moon999, first time I've seen you in here. Appreciate your comment, bro. What do I do at RB in my first year of an auction dynasty? He has Hendy, Benson on IR, Michael Carter, Harvey, Kendre Miller, and he has St. Brown, JSN, and Devontae as his wide receivers, but he has 3 and 2. So I think here's the play. You start Henderson, you start Carter or Harvey, like those 3, and then maybe pick up a guy like Isaiah Davis, and you could start him if you need to, because he will get some more run, and then you're 3 and 2, so you have a little bit of leeway. If you were 2 and 3 or 1 and 4, you might have to panic, but it's also a dynasty, so don't do anything stupid.
Is that what he's asking? Like who to start, or is he asking who to trade for?
He said, what should he do? Just what do I do?
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty broad question.
I mean, the wide receivers are nice, like Amon-Ra and JSN. Yeah. Like this is a championship caliber team. It's not, you haven't stacked together the greatest team that's ever been assembled, but you've got, especially the wide receivers, you're in really solid shape. So,
and he's 3 and 2.
Yeah, and you're 3 and 2. So make a run at it. Get some. Don't forget this is dynasty. Like if you feel like you can make a run at it, trade some picks and get some assets in running back for the rest of this year.
But don't do anything like trade Henderson or Harvey, because in dynasty those guys are elite assets, right? Like they're way more valuable than they are in redraft. So we don't want to do that. Don't
get rid of them. Like when I played dynasty, Breece Hall was untouchable. Like it was after his rookie year. Like he's untouchable. Like those are the guys that you can't let them off your roster. Like
right. Dom says fuck boys. I used to be a fuck boy. Fuck boys. I'm cooked. Hampton was my only hope. Not cooked, Dom. You watch this show. We're gonna get you through this. We're gonna start some gems here in the future, and you're gonna get by. Michael says Ravens D is horrendous. Opponents are averaging 35.2 points against them this year, and that's counting the Browns game where they only gave up like 13. So like technically they're allowing, if you don't count the Browns, which aren't really an NFL team on offense, they're allowing 40 points a game. 40 a game, bro.
Dude,
wowzers.
What a drop off Like, could you imagine 2 years ago saying the Ravens are giving up 35 points a game in a Harbaugh era? I'm telling you, dude.
Yeah, and historically the Ravens, right?
Like, it's time. You got to go, John Harbaugh. Clearly, the team isn't working anymore. You got to make some changes.
I'm not on that page with you. And here's the thing, though, too, is that the first 2 games they were healthy on defense. It's only been the last 2 they've been hurt. Well, the last game and a half they've been hurt, right? So like more than half of the season they've been healthy on defense with those numbers. Disgusting.
Dude, the Houston Texans just pushed your shit in. Like, that should be enough of a reason to let the coach go.
Mark says, how long am I holding on to Harvey? Bye week's coming up. This is my bench. Harvey, Sharp, Robinson, Coleman, Judy. Drop Judy for sure. Kyler's my main quarterback. So you got to only roll with one quarterback and then figure it out in bye weeks. Because don't drop Harvey. Like, you can't. Like, it's giving a gift to your league too, right?
I hate to say it, but I did drop Harvey in a 10-team league.
10 teams different.
10-team league is different. In a 12-team league, no. Like you said, you've got 2 quarterbacks on there. Plus, you've got an expendable asset in Judy. Regardless, if you didn't want to get rid of one of the quarterbacks, then get rid of Judy. But don't drop Harvey.
It's Smalley says, do you think Brashard Smith will be playing over Hunt or Pacheco soon? No, I don't. I think it's going to be officially a 3-way committee as like 30% time snap share for all those guys, which is just hell. That's good for Brashard Smith, though, because he's a dynamic player. He can have that Jerick McKinnon role, but that hurts Hunt and hurts Pacheco especially.
Yeah, he's very, very slowly sneaking up in both snaps and usage. It's going to be time. I was a little ambitious in saying to pick him up this week. You probably didn't need to, unless you've got a deep league. You don't even need to stash him at this point. It's even an injury is not going to catapult him into startable fantasy assets.
I agree. We got Ryan super happy after week 5, sitting 3-2 and 4-1. Got to keep working waivers, looking at my matchups and rotating those defense and kickers. That's the language we want to hear, right, Story? That's how you win.
Exactly. I mean, it's easy to say that when you're 3-2 and 4-1. It's a little more difficult to kind of muster the enthusiasm when you're 1-4, but that's it should be the same attitude. You just got to, every week you got to adjust for that week and make your decisions based on your upcoming matchup. Forget about the past and work on what you got coming up. You can only control what's in front of you. You can't change what already happened.
Marvin A, really good comment. Why is the value still so high on the 49ers to win the Super Bowl at 18-1? I feel like it'd be nice to lay money on them, right? 4-1, decent schedule, injuries can't get any worse. That's true. Can get a 1 or 2 seed. What is your answer on that one, Story? Because plus 1,800 seems pretty fucking fair. Is it just because Brock Purdy looks bad and the injuries could get worse or like stay the same?
I think a lot of it has to do with
Is it Nick Bosa?
Well, yeah, Bosa being out for the year definitely hurts, but I think a lot of it has to do with the NFC conference in general. Washington, Philadelphia, Seattle, LA, Packers, Detroit, Green Bay, Lions, Tampa Bay. Like, there's enough contenders there, and the injuries that they've had are mounting, continue to pile up in San Francisco. So that value seems very reasonable, like very fair to me.
Agreed. Anthony says, what's going on, Anthony, by the way? I traded Javonte for Chuba Hubbard. Will be officially finalized in a couple hours. So I traded Javonte. You got Chuba Hubbard? Because I wouldn't do that. Chuba Hubbard is hurt and not really. Devonta Smith is a buy low, honestly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't finalize that. Just cancel it. Say you were drunk.
Wait, what Devontae are we talking about? Because like the one he spelled.
Smith.
Okay. Are you sure?
That's Devontae Adams, I think. Hopefully it's not Devontae Adams.
Is Davante.
Yeah,
Devonta
right.
Smith
I'm assuming it's Devonta Smith.
But it's DE''VONTA. And
right.
Who was the third one? A couple years ago, there was a third Devonta floating around in the league. I can't remember who it was. I don't know that I would have done it for either one of those guys, to be honest.
I'm way behind the chat though. Mark has told me this. There's so many people that tell me where they're from and I forget. Mark's from Toronto, same year as me, 88 though. Let's go. Blake says best community on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. And another super from Mark, man. I gotta chug a beer. I think if I get one more, I'll chug a beer at 7. Mark, not from you, Mark. You give me enough already. Rate, please. Kyler, Cook, Judkins, Jamar, Pickens, Theo, Coleman, QJ, Sharp, Harvey, Robinson Jr., and Benson and Bowers on my IR. Let's assume this is a 12-teamer. Kyler, so his quarterback is kind of up in the air, but he's going to pick up somebody, and it's Kyler, whatever. Cook, Judkins, Jamar, Pickens, Theo, Coleman. So he's got a wide receiver 3 problem, but he's got Bowers. who should be fine eventually. And he has QJ as wide receiver 3 technically.
Yeah.
And I love the upside of Harvey Robinson Jr. and Benson when he comes back. So I'm going to give this a solid B just because the quarterback questions, and Bowers is like uncertain right now. But Judkins and Cook is dope.
The Judkins, Cook, and Benson. Like, I get Benson's on IR, but he should be the guy there when he comes back. So I'm going to give it a B+ because I think you're pretty locked and loaded. The Coleman situation, God, I wish he had taken that next step. Like, I really had high hopes for him, and they're just not really concerned with getting any one guy the ball there. It's difficult. I give it a B+.
Ryan, he's a local Chicago guy. Remember, he wants to go to the Boys Town with us and bang us.
Oh, that's right.
Dude, Ryan, don't worry about it, bro. Like, you give what you can when you can. If not, like, you're welcome in the channel, in the Discord. Like, you're an OG, so you don't got to pay for the Discord. Like, I'm keeping it what it is now because you guys are here from the beginning, and you know how great it is. And I appreciate it, General Man. Don't even worry about it. So thank you even for the sentiment in the comments, and you're also hilarious. We fucking love you. So yeah, your comedy right now is more than enough, right?
Let's get those kids into fantasy football. You got 3 of them. You're a third of the way to a full league.
yeah, whole league of don't have any more like Tyreek Hill, okay? Because like he could actually have all of his kids draft him. They're all fighting over Tyreek Hill. Michael Hart says my glory story is playing fantasy football my first year ever when I was 15 at most. I'm 43, so that was pre-internet. I played with my dad and all his friends, and I won against a bunch of grown men.
That's awesome.
That was pre-internet for sure, because we're looking at 28 years ago, which would have been 1997. That was like right when the internet became a thing. Might have still been a newspaper league.
My business partner, he tells me he doesn't play fantasy anymore. He gave it up a few years ago. But he's been playing fantasy football. He's like 46 or 47, so he's a few years older than I am. And he's not like 40. I don't know. But he's been playing since before any of the platforms. So literally, they would have somebody on Monday get the paper, find the stats for the game. It was touchdowns only, and that's how you would find out if you won, was the next day.
Yeah, well, like, because all the old school guys, they all played standard, right? So like touchdowns are only is even crazier than standard, which I'm not a fan of. But I get, like, whatever the format is, like, play fantasy football. And can you imagine owning Jerry Rice in fantasy in 1987? Like 18 touchdowns from a fucking receiver when every other receiver is scoring 6.
He told me about the one year that LT scored 20 some touchdowns,
26 touchdowns. I think. Yeah, he had the passing touchdowns too.
But he scored like 0 touchdowns in championship week, and everybody got completely creamed because he didn't score any touchdowns in week 15 or whatever, or 16, whatever it was.
Wild. Yeah.
So like everybody's riding high. LT like if you didn't have, I'm not sure people on here know, but like 20 years ago, if you didn't have the like 4 or 5 running backs that were true bell cows, like you weren't competing, right? It was just it was impossible. Or like Jerry Rice, or
that's why the first round was like 10 or 12 running backs. It was like all running backs.
It was like all running backs and Randy Moss, right? Like
yeah. Or like Peyton Manning, right?
Or Peyton, quarterbacks. Again, so some people might not know, quarterbacks used to be drafted regularly. I took Aaron Rodgers 3 overall in one league one year. Ooh. And he was the consensus like 4 overall. It was a wild time. It was the Wild West out there.
It's Smalley. Do you trust Waller going forward? I as much as I slandered him after his first game, I do, because he looks good for one. We've seen Jonnu. Now, Jonnu had a whole different role. He was getting dumped downs, even an extension of the running game. Waller is more of like a seam tight end, right? But he's getting the red zone work, and there's no red zone. Like, A-Chain's tiny. Like, there's no red zone threat to Waller. He is the red zone guy there, and the offense is kind of broken. But I do think Waller is in that tight end 1 discussion, right?
I agree. He's not instantly. I was, again, cautious coming into the week, and I wish I had picked him up in one league. But I'm very comfortable putting in wide receiver 1 conversation for the rest of the year. Again, his usage only ticked up to like 60% of snaps. Imagine if he gets up to 75%, like what you've got from him. Yeah, I mean, he's very much a move tight end, right? So athletic, very agile, down the seam, as you mentioned. He's got a different role than Jonnu, so he's not going to get a dump offs, but they're looking for him downfield, which is exactly what you want. And they need him. Like, they desperately need somebody now that Tyreek's down. So I like it.
And they have no big body players at all. He's the only one. The running back's tiny. The receivers are tiny. Nick Westbrook-Ikini is an X receiver, but he's like 6 foot tall. So
I forgot he was even on that team. Remember when he was catching nothing but touchdowns last year?
Eight touchdowns on 35 catches. Blake Allen, best community on YouTube. Shout out, Blake. You're a big part of that. Thank you for the thumbnails, by the way, Blake. How great are those, Story?
This is the Blake that's doing these thumbnails?
This is the Blake. This is the guy.
Blake.
He's 21-year-old. He's the biggest sports fan in the world, Story. He blows past us in terms of like all-encompassing soccer, UFC, college football, NFL. I bet he's a huge baseball fan, big NBA fan. He probably watches a lot of girl-on-girl action, I think.
Like lingerie football? You ever been to one of those games?
Ooh,
Blake?
I've seen it at halftime.
Let us know.
This was Michael said this is back before the internet, so I used to walk to the store in the morning before hopping on the school bus so I could check the player stats and the box score. That's awesome, man. And now look where we're at now. It's on our phone. Like you can make live bets. You can literally make a live bet play by play next play. It's fucking wild, bro. Here we go. Danny, what's the best way to get into fantasy as a newcomer? Danny, watch this show, baby. 7 nights a week. Whenever you want to get on, you're going to get in-depth information, answering your questions. Subscribe to the channel. Not just us. You can watch Matt Harmon. I'll shout out Matt Harmon. Go watch Matt Harmon. He's a little bit more advanced. He numbs it. Like we do some in-depth shit story, but we also are kind of for the everyman too, right?
Yes. Matt Harmon does excellent work. The reception perception is one of the most valuable assets in fantasy football. I think Matt Harmon, even as big as he is right now, because he's on Yahoo, is the work that he does is still underrated. I don't think anybody knows the X's and O's of the wide receiver position in this community more so than Matt Harmon. So if I had to listen to one guy, it would be Matt Harmon.
Yeah, he's also just a super nice guy, and like he's not that funny, but he kind of is, like in a dorky way. He's just got it all, and I would definitely bang him. Unique says trade away Hurts and Brown for Fields and Devontae Adams. PPR, sorry to bore you with Unique. You can never bore us with any questions. Ask me what my favorite church is. I'll tell you none of them. Trade away Hurts and Brown for Fields and Devontae Adams. I want Hurts and Brown, dude.
Hurts and Brown.
Safe compared to Fields. And like, I feel like I'd rather have AJ Brown than Devontae Adams. It's really close. That's really close for me.
Yeah.
So the deciding factor is Hurts.
It's close, but yeah, I'd rather have Hurts and Brown. Yeah.
Mark says, you got my age and location. As for sex, I love having it. If you might find someone that doesn't like having sex, they're probably a pedophile or they like dogs. So I don't trust those people.
There are asexual individuals out there. Everyone has their own proclivities. So we don't judge here on this podcast.
I'm not. Okay. Thank you, Story. Thank you for setting me straight. But I still think it's weird. Okay. It's weird. You can do it. I don't care. It's more sex for us, Story. I mean,
I guess that's one way to look at it.
Yeah.
Unless somebody else is having sex, more potential.
Yes. Jags won. Woo. Hope everyone's night is going great. It's going great. Thank you for the comments. Here we go. Emma says, after his amazing performance, do we think Dowdle is a lead back over Hubbard, or will they still honor Hubbard and give him more carries? I'm asking because Dowdle looked absolutely amazing. Rico Dowdle looked amazing. We love Starship Troopers. Rico! Rico's great. Now they gave Hubbard a bag of money. And they gave Chuba a bag of money. Rico's making like 2 years, $7 million. But the coach is there. I think Canales is a decently bright guy. I don't know what your thoughts on Canales are, Story, but I think he's earned himself a 50-50 split. That's how it was trending before the injury and before the 230-yard performance. I think it's a 50-50 split, and I think they're going to be more likely to give Hubbard another game or two off.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's going to be, I think it's actually going to be more frustrating for fantasy players in the weeks to come once Hubbard is back, because Hubbard was the unquestioned lead back last year. They paid him a ton, but he had Hubbard or Dowdle was already eating into his volume. Hubbard's fantasy stats were padded by like late game receiving work, which isn't going to be consistent. Late game receiving touchdowns, which is incredibly inconsistent. So if they move into a 50-50 timeshare, just because somebody gets paid doesn't necessarily mean that they're the guy. Like, look at what's happening at Oregon right now. The football, they brought in Mekhi Hughes from Tulane. They paid him $1.2 million. The dude has barely seen the field. He already asked for a red shirt. Oregon just paid a guy $1.2 million to carry the ball like 12 times in the season.
Hold on. Sorry, why are you bringing up college football? You know what a good comparison is? Remember when the Panthers paid fucking Miles Sanders and then they benched him?
Yeah,
That's an actual good comparison, right? Because it's the same team.
I think you can make relevant comparisons to college football.
I know, but the Miles Sanders one sitting on a platter story, and you went first, and you didn't say it, so I beat you. I won.
was giving a timely and relevant response.
Everyone knows I won, and I'm just kidding. Okay, that's a good call. So you say 50-50 split? What do you think?
Yeah, I think we'll go to a 60-40 once Hubbard is back.
60 Chuba?
Yeah.
Or 60 Dowdle?
60 Chuba. Still, I think it's still his backfield, like majority of his backfield.
All right, gentlemen, we have a couple more minutes here. I'm going to try to get through. I know Story's probably tired. I'm going to get through all your questions, though, if he gets off either way, because that's what I do around here. Ryan.
From Mark, real quick.
Yeah, the Love the Knowledge one, or did he give me another?
No. There's one a couple down.
What? Oh, he did.
I want to make sure it doesn't go unnoticed.
I have to. Okay, good call. Mark, I told you not to, but you know what? Okay, hold on. It's here. You can kind of see it. It's pretty full here. I don't want to spill my computer. It's like up to here right now, so it's like 10 ounces. I'll chug it real quick.
All right, here we go.
Thank you again, Mark. You ready?
Chug. Oh man, this bottle's open. I just spilled water everywhere.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna have to get another one now. Whew. Thank you. All right, I know where we're at. This is a good one from Ryan. I'm sorry. I'm going to drop Strange now that Kraft his bye week is done. Dropping Io Manor as well. Look who's on the waivers for him. He had DeAndre Swift, Shaheed, and Higgins on waivers. Now he has Addison. He said, should I drop Addison and pick up all three? I would keep Addison, and I would pick up Swift and Higgins. That's T.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would even consider dropping Addison at this point. Wentz has been good.
Shaheed did just blow up.
How repeatable is that? Like, how many times are you going to get an 80-yard touchdown? I don't know that I would react that strongly to it. But he's got Swift. So Higgins on waivers, like, I mean, yeah, Strange, goodbye. Sorry, like, you were fine for a couple weeks, but whatever. And Io Manor, like, I'd rather have Higgins than Io Manor at this point, wouldn't you? Like,
T. Higgins is fine, bro. I'm worried about T. Higgins more than Jamar Chase based on where you drafted him. T. Higgins is still a wide receiver 3. He's going to have big games. He's a good player.
He's a wide receiver 3, and Io Manor is barely a spot start.
We got Zay 2-3, lost again, bro. Need a Jaguars kicker Little to score under 8. He scored 9. Can't make this up last 3 weeks. Yeah, it's okay, dude. It's okay. 2-3 is not the end of the year, end of the season, end of your life. You're good. Just try to stay positive. We're gonna get through this, and it's if you don't, it's not the end of the world, right? Like I play 25 leagues, so I sometimes like I do take it too serious, but there's always another league, there's always another year, and there's always just more to life. And I'm saying that as a guy that's making this his life right now. But we'll get through it, and you'll do 2-3 is fine, okay? And obviously you're losing close games. You probably have decent points, which ends up being a win at the end of the season if you have higher points than a guy that has the same record. So don't worry about it.
Hope that things even out over the course of the year, right? It's a long season.
Michael says, my illest combo on a team was Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss in the Vikings in a premium TD league. Bonus for longer TDs. Oh, Jesus. That was what, 90? That would have been 98, or was that like 2001? 98 was his rookie year. Was that Culpepper or no? That wasn't Culpepper.
No, that wasn't Culpepper.
That would have been 2002.
Can you imagine the guy that stacked up Tom Brady and Randy Moss the year they connected for 20 touchdowns?
Oh, 20. It was 23 touchdowns for Randy.
They couldn't set the spread high enough for that team. Like the spreads.
They still covered, and they still covered.
Yeah, they still smashed minus 17, minus 20.
Well, Story, when you're up by 21 points in the fourth quarter and you're running play action on the 50-yard line and throwing a bomb to Randy, that's beautiful, though. You know what? Hey, the best quote is, if you don't want me to run out the score, fucking stop me. That's the quote.
Who said
I know there's like disrespect, but I don't know. I just said it. But like someone said it. Someone said it throughout football. That's a Dan Campbell quote. What's going on, Solano? How you doing? Look at this. Michael promoting our shit. Appreciate you. Who doesn't like dogs? Woof woof. We all do.
Exactly.
It's Smalley. Is there a Discord to join? Bear down as well. Didn't know you guys are from Chicago. Damn straight we are. It's Smalley. There is a Discord, but I made it a month ago. I'm keeping that just for now for all the OGs for this channel. You can go on the Patreon. It is linked in the description. The smallest tier gets you in the Discord. There's a lot of other good stuff too. It's not that much. The biggest tier is like $20 a month. That does include guest appearances on the show. A lot of good shit there. That's for like psychos like myself. If you want to be on the show, like multiple times. But there's still other good tiers. You can play fantasy with us. Check that out if you want to join the Discord. And the community is just
like a
playoff
awesome,
right, Story?
Oh, you spilled on yourself. The community has been extreme. Like not only like just the people there are knowledgeable, but they're extremely genial and like everybody's courteous and funny, and it's just a really good community. There's no toxicity to it. Like
it's positivity.
You can't really find that
like
in sports these days.
And I hate being that dude. And like, here's the thing about this channel, though. There's no ads. I specifically did not enable ads for this channel because you make a little bit of money. I don't want ads on this channel. So like the ad read you're going to get is me promoting this channel and myself and like Story. And like, I'm not trying to get rich. I'm just trying to get by so I can keep on doing this 25 hours and not have a job, because like I could not do this level of commitment if I had a full-time job. And I kind of did before Story. It was like I was putting in 15 hours a week. But like 30 hours a week is just, I have a wife and a dog and hobbies. I can't do it.
15 hours,
25. Yeah.
Like 15 hours, I think would be the bare minimum for it to be like the most you would, like if you're putting 15 hours in, you should be making something from that. Like if you love it, like, and you just love crocheting for 15 hours a week, go nuts. But the amount of effort that goes into it, like mentally that this takes as well, it's way beyond just 15 hours of your time. And now that you're at 25, we're trying to make this into a real community. And the bottom line is, I hope that we're helping people. I hope that the advice is solid and that people are enjoying and entertained by this as well. Right? Don't make this hobby so stressful on yourself. I get it.
And what I'm not mentioning is like the time I'm putting in. I'm also playing 25 leagues, which takes a lot of time because I put my money where my mouth is. All my bets I put on here, I'm betting hundreds of dollars on 24 and what is it? I had the record down here. It's 24-11 Story for the year on these
wild
big bets.
Start to the year, man.
So you're also making money, and like I'm putting all this time in, so I have the knowledge to give you. Me and Story have no notes in front of us. All this is free balling because we know our shit. That's the difference. And all I'm asking for is just a little change.
Can I borrow some money to put my stuff in storage? Come on, guys. If y'all just help me out a little bit. Each one of you just put in a little change. Change.
Don't blow my head off. Okay, a couple more questions here. We'll get up to them, and then we're going to be out of here. But I appreciate all your patience. Everyone's patience. PPR, I have Lamar and Zay Flowers already. I was offered Derrick Henry for Kamara. You don't want 3 Ravens at this point. Like, unfortunately, I mean, I would not.
Well, he must be starting somebody else other than Lamar. I'd do it. I would do it. I have far more confidence that Derrick Henry is going to return value than Kamara. I'm really worried about Kamara's usage. The fact that Kendrick Miller got 10 carries and looked good doing it. The fact that Taysom Hill is back and he didn't get any goal line carries this time, but they weren't on the goal line for him to get it. I'm very worried about Kamara, and it sucks because I love Kamara.
Yeah, and the pass catching's out there. This is a funny. I got to read this from Ryan. Hopefully he's still in here. Peace out, fellas. Got to get up early for night jumps. Peace. He's trying to bang his wife, I guess. And I'll catch the live tomorrow. Story. Thanks for the Rain Man mind. Rob, must be nice walking into a room knowing every guy wants to blow you. You know what the funny thing is? I go into a room thinking I want to blow every guy. So like if the feeling's mutual, that's gonna be a giant suck fest when I walk into rooms.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, people can do whatever they want on their free time. Gotta watch Wapner.
This is a good one from Brandon. I've never seen a touchdown that looked like a birth of a baby giraffe till tonight. Is that the last one that Trevor Lawrence scored?
Yes, he must be talking about like him like flailing around as he went to pick it up.
Yeah. You know what I just thought of? It was just one of my favorite scenes in movie history, even though it's a terrible movie, is Ace Ventura 2 when he has to get out of that rhino and he goes to the asshole. Like the family's like watching and they're like, oh, it's nature, mommy, look. And it's a fucking naked Jim Carrey just coming out of an ass of a rhino.
I don't know why. Like, I love Jim Carrey and I love his dirty humor, but for whatever reason, that particular scene makes me uncomfortable. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Mark says you guys are definitely helping. Trust me. Answers are so in depth. Other fantasy people just breeze by and show a few stats on the screen. Yeah, so that's the thing. Is important. It's all about I don't know. Stats are big, but like also like you got to set the table for these things. And like, I could put a stat like we say when we were talking about like players in the preseason who we like or we hate. We could give you 3 stats on both ends and be like, draft a player, don't draft a player. This stat is bad. This stat is good. Like we go beyond the box score and we watch other games. I watch not only every game, I watch Red Zone. I go back and at least at the very minimum watch the 18-minute YouTube highlight video. And if I can, I watch the all 22. Now I can't do that with every game. We're doing this pod, but like I try to watch as much film as I can. In the preseason, I watch film on every single player. You watch all these guys in college. So like that's why our marriage is we're gay married is so great because you have these players as prospects. And I feel like I watch a little bit more NFL than you, which is it's hard to say because you watch a lot of NFL, but I just don't watch college, so I have more time in my hands to watch NFL film.
First of all, Rob is my work husband. I think that's very well known. Secondly, I annoy my wife every Sunday because anytime like a new rookie gets something that happens, I'll be like, hey, so-and-so, do you know where he went to college? Like, oh, hey, Travis Hunter. And she's like, I don't know. Penn State. I'm like, no, come on. We talked about this. Colorado. It's all day long. So, like, I love watching these guys. I actually went back and I looked. Fantrax keeps every record of every game that you played you can go back for as long as the site's been around. I went back and I looked. You know who my quarterback was on that Devin Lucien team that I won back in 2000?
Oh, I can't wait to hear.
It was Jared Goff.
What?
Yes.
Jared Goff went to Cal, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a SEC Big Ten Pac-12 only team at the time. The Cal was in the Pac-12. So that's
no
wild.
Shit. That's awesome. All knowing Trev's touchdown made me $500 on a $20 next TD bet. Let's go.
That's what we're talking about. You can play on. You can bet on. You can bet in baseball if the next pitch is going to be a strike or a ball or in play or whatever.
That's actually more degenerate than calling heads or tails in the Super Bowl because like you wanted to have a lot of bets in the Super Bowl. Like an individual regular season game betting a ball or strike is like that's like shooting heroin, right? Like it's one thing to like snort heroin or like do coke or like smoke weed, but like shooting heroin and calling ball or strike on a game 62 against the Blue Jays and Rangers. That's crazy. I think that's the craziest thing I've ever heard because you're always going to double down, right? Like you're always going to keep doubling down.
There's no at least with pregame betting, there's trends and there's models and everything related to that you know what it's going to be like. I don't know. I made $150 on the coin toss this year. So
it's literally red or black. It's red or black without the green.
No, like it wasn't just betting on one side. One of the books had a boost for the coin toss, and they didn't put like a max on it. So I bet like $3,000 on one side and like $3,100 on the other side, or $3,150 on the other side, and I made like $100.
Yeah, you win either way.
Yeah, it's called hedging. It's about
That's a smart betting story.
Yeah.
We have Kylo saying, "Are you guys dating?" I mean, we're like I said, we're work buddies. We actually met at work, believe it or not, our old job. But Story's married. I'm married. We both have hot, awesome wives, and I go both ways much more than Story does. Brandon says friends with benefits. That's true. Last couple questions, and I want to talk about our fantasy team before you log off because I need some updates here. Brandon says, crazy turn. Is the AFC South really the best division in the AFC right now? No, it's not. But record-wise, it's good. It's not.
No, I think it's still.
They don't have the best teams.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't argue it's still the West, right?
Yeah, just because I believe in the Broncos and the Chiefs.
You think the Chiefs are going to take the next step anyway?
Yeah, and the Chargers are still like a 10-win team. I feel like even with the injuries, their defense will get better. Okay, 9-win team, whatever.
Yeah.
And the Raiders are better than the fucking Titans. Maybe. I don't even know. Even know.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, it's tough, but I still think it's the West, although the South is definitely creeping up there.
Oh, look at this one. All Knowing. That's a good name for you, All Knowing. He said, not sure if you remember the Bucs game. I do remember that game. Rashad White had that touchdown when Bucky didn't get it at the end, and he made $1,000 off 25 on that.
That's wild.
Because it didn't look like they were going to score, right? Remember Ibuka dropped that ball?
Yeah.
That like 40-yard ball, and it was coming down to the wire, and like that's why that happens. And that's called making money. You're set for the year as long as you're disciplined and you're not betting $25 in every next touchdown scorer. Even then, you probably won't lose the money you made. I'll get to Unique's question before we get to our wrap up here. Genty or Scatabo rest of the season PPR?
Genty.
It's still Genty, yeah. I still think Scatabo is a set it and forget it RB2, even when Tracy comes back. I think maybe when Tracy comes back, he goes to like RB 25, 22, 23. But PPR especially.
I think we need to give it a week. Tracy is still a big part of that team. So let's see what it looks like when he comes back. But yeah, it's Genty by a mile.
All right, so give us a fantasy update. We won our league. We did just so you guys that are in the audience, we drafted on Fantrax, public league, the ones I'm in 17 of those, and Story is managing this one because I have too many to manage. And we have a great team. We're first in points still, right? Story, we're 3-2 now.
Yeah, we are 3-2, third place in the league now. We won 146-101 despite. Let's see, who was James Cook. So that was our down day, was James Cook, and to a lesser extent Derrick Henry. It was the fourth highest scoring in the league this week, and we didn't go up against the guy that scored like 150, who lost to the guy that scored 170.
That's right. We have the most points scored in the league.
We have the most points scored by currently 7 points.
What's read our lineup? Read our lineup to the people.
Yeah, I love this team.
Full PPR, 3 receivers and a flex, 4 for a passing touchdown.
Yeah, bear in mind that there are no trading, and these are deep benches. This is why we have 2 quarterbacks. So Drake May is our starter, and then where is it? Caleb Williams is our backup. We've got Derrick Henry, Cam Scatabo, James Cook, Nick Chubb, Blake Corum, Ray Davis, Sean Tucker. Those are all our running backs. And then we have Nico Collins, Emeka Egbuka, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, and Chris Olave. And then our tight ends are Tongchis, which was like the call of the year, a spot start, and then Tucker Kraft.
So our receivers, Chris Olave is like our 5? Or 4?
Yeah.
5?
He's our 5. Because Smith, like
that's what's up. That's what's up, baby. Like that's a team, and Scatabo and like Tucker Kraft, and our quarterbacks are great. Like Caleb and Drake May, bro. Like, remember we got them in the 13th and 14th round. We waited.
Oh yeah,
or maybe it was 12th and 11th. I think it was 12th and 13th actually. And we waited late for those quarterbacks.
Yeah, we let's find out. We can, and we were 11. Yeah, it was a 13 and 14. Drake May and Caleb Williams back to back. Yeah,
that's why you wait a quarterback, folks, especially in a full PPR with only 4 for a passing touchdown. Like we have pseudo scramblers with, passing upside, and that's so late to get 2 guys that are both in the top 12 right now.
Yeah, I mean,
if anything, it's too good because we have a question every week who to start.
I know that's kind of the challenge. We'll have to figure that out, but we also are still sitting at the number 1 waiver priority. So
that's just a fucking cherry on top, baby.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Let's go. Last question here. Unique, Holler, Genty, rest of the season. It's Genty. It's still Genty.
It's still,
now if Breece Hall gets traded to the Chiefs and they actually get their shit together and want to only play 1 back, it's maybe Breece Hall. But I feel like the rock bottom. The Raiders have hit rock bottom now, right? Like it can't get any worse, right?
It can go sideways, but it's not going to get any worse. It can go up.
Yeah.
It can go sideways, but it's not going to get any worse. And we've seen how good Genty can be when given the chance. So it's Genty. It's still Genty.
I love it. I'm going to play the ending clip there, talk you out, and say bye to Story. Appreciate you guys.
You asked to see me. I made your Cajun chicken niblets.
No. You made my year. You have a gift. And a super dope hat. This is cool. All right, boys. Let's go!
You made my Cajun chicken nibble. Last one from Michael. May versus or beat up Chargers team versus the Dolphins. I don't know what that means. May versus Saints or a beat up Chargers team versus Dolphins. Does that mean talking about Herbert?
He's because the Chargers are playing the Dolphins. It's May for me.
It's Drake May. Yeah. It's gonna be May.
It's gonna make.
All right, Mike Story. Again, tomorrow night we'll do the waivers show and just general the same shit we do around here. We'll talk some waivers. I have Dave coming on. I have Ben coming on. I have two awesome guests. Story will be back Thursday night. He usually comes on after every primetime game. So Sunday night you'll see him. Monday night you'll see him. Thursday night, occasionally sprinkled in other nights if he's not too busy. I don't want to overload the guy. I'll load him up with something else. But he's awesome. Shouts to Mike Story for just being fucking gracious, articulate, funny, sweet. Like, you're awesome, Story. We love you, man.
Finally getting to put those 4 degrees to use. So, because I sure as hell ain't using them in my regular work.
All right. So tomorrow night it'll be an earlier stream for everyone. It'll be like 9 p.m. Central Time, and that'll go for probably 3 hours. This one's almost about 3 hours. Appreciate you guys. Ending thoughts as usual. All right. Ending thoughts as usual. Love your life. Stay positive. Respect each other. This moment's a gift. That's why it's called the present. Let's go. Let's watch some football. Week 6 coming up soon. Tune in tomorrow or whenever. Story, thank you. And we'll see you soon, man.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Later, guys. We'll talk.
Peace. Peace, boys.